children. In other news this morning, a student at Oak Lawn High School is accused of threatening to bring a gun to the school and open fire at the southwest suburban location on social media. Police say they were made aware Sunday of that threat posted on Snapchat. The 15-year-old boy was later questioned by detectives and admitted to posting the threat. He was charged yesterday as a juvenile with making threat of violence or death directed at persons at that school. People rescued from a trapped elevator in one of Chicago's tallest buildings learned much later they had dropped 84 floors. Chicago Tribune reported late yesterday that 6 people, including a pregnant woman, got into the elevator early last Friday after leaving a restaurant on the 95th floor of the former John Hancock Center. They heard noises and experienced a rapid and bumpy ride. One of several cables holding the elevator broke. The car fell rapidly, landing somewhere near the 11th floor. Firefighters broke through a wall more than 10 stories above ground from a parking garage to reach those who were trapped inside. The elevator and 2 others are now shut down until repairs are made and officials figure out just what happened. An elderly woman is dead after she was hit by a vehicle on Chicago's southwest side. The victim was crossing the street last night in the 7400 block of South Cicero Avenue when the car ran into her. She was taken to Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, where she later died. Charges are pending against a suspect who was shot after stabbing a sheriff's deputy on Chicago's south side. Authorities say deputies responded last night to the corner of 41st and Michigan to arrest Jovian Brewer, who had not checked in with the sheriff's electronic monitoring program. Since November 7, he had been asked to do so. He then stabbed one of the deputies in the head before another deputy shot and tasered him. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a fire that tore through a barn in Warrenville. The blaze broke out yesterday at Galusha Farm. No injuries reported. The fire is not believed to be suspicious. A week-long period for candidates vying to become Chicago's next mayor to file their nominating petitions has gotten underway. Former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis, businessman Willie Wilson, Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle, attorney Jerry Joyce, and activist Catherine Brown DeTacune filed their petitions on Monday. Preckwinkle and Wilson estimate they gathered 60,000 signatures. Vallis, about 50,000. Joyce, about 30,000. Illinois' largest group of school board members says they're going to weigh in and vote against arming teachers. The Illinois Association of School Boards voting over the weekend to formally oppose plans at the State House to allow teachers to carry guns. The Association of School Boards does not speak for all school boards, but in a statement did admit that many rural and smaller districts statewide are supporting the idea, but some schools in Chicago, a few suburbs, and some larger communities in central and southern Illinois are against the idea. Boy, a lot of people wanted to win that $2 billion in lottery jackpot. Illinois lottery officials say last month's record-breaking Mega Millions and Powerball jackpots drove record-breaking ticket sales. Lottery's Jason Schaumburg says players bought up $345 million worth of tickets in October. The last time sales were anywhere that mark was January of 2016. Bears are on a short week of practice before taking on the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Bad news out of Hallis Hall is that quarterback Mitchell Trubisky is dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder. Apparently was hurt in Sunday night's win over the Vikings. Blackhawks hit the road to face the Capitals tomorrow night. Bulls host the Suns tomorrow night. Chicago looking to end a 4-game skid. They'll do so without guard Denzel Valentine, likely out for the season after ankle surgery. College hoops. Loyola tops Richmond 82-66. Number 3 Gonzaga hangs on to beat the Fighting Illini in Maui 84-78. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance got issues with youth or high school sports. Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, parents, students, and administrators visit pcadevzone.org. 5:08, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
In the last 2 years, this president somehow managed to defeat the mainstream media and the forces of darkness on the left. He managed to get 2 strong judges in the Supreme Court. He turned around a bad economy and put millions back to work. He rebuilt the military, saved sick veterans. He beat back the Islamic terrorists known as ISIS. But these victories are hanging by a thread. Now the real fight begins to keep those gains and get more. It's not time to let up now. Find out what needs to be done. Stick with this station to know more. AM 560, The Answer.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, if you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
This car I'm driving, I overpaid big time. It was such a mistake. I should have just gone to Carfax.com, but I went to some other site. They gave me a price range? Oh, they were way off. Son of a...
Carfax has a better way. When you search used cars at Carfax.com, you get the most accurate price based on the Carfax report, so you never have to overpay on a used car again. Start your used car search today at Carfax.com.
Shop Kohl's.com for Black Friday deals Monday through Friday. Plus, get more bang for your buck with $15 Kohl's cash for every $50 spent. Get $17.99 toys, a diamond pendant necklace, $99.99, $8.99 throws or decorative pillows, $19.99 comforters and sheets, and $20 and under women's sweaters. Shop Kohl's.com for Black Friday deals Monday through Friday. And stores open Thursday at 5 p.m. Kohl's. Select styles. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Amazon is raising the bar on wages. Amazon's U.S. employees now earn at least $15 an hour in the Chicago area. Learn more and apply at amazon.com/Chicago jobs. Amazon's an equal opportunity employer.
5:11, check on the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonti.
We are still seeing lane closures this morning outside Mercy Hospital. 26th has a left lane closure in both directions between Wabash and King Drive. In Glenview, traffic lights are not working on Central Road at Milwaukee Avenue. Lights are out. Edens looks good. Kennedy outbound at Cumberland. The exit set to reopen shortly after some overnight work. There's also some work on 190 eastbound. That's clearing out of the left lane. Eisenhower outbound near First Avenue. A crash just reported. Some roads may be slick. A little bit of precipitation here and there. Outbound Ryan, heavy 87th to 95th road work. That's a 2 or 3 minute delay. Outbound Bishop Ford, got a 2 minute delay, 111th to 103rd. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Brian May.
Cold today with clouds and sunshine, high 34. Patchy clouds tonight, low 28. Chilly tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 36. Thanksgiving Day, clouds and sunshine, high Thursday, 38. I'm Brian May on AM 560. The Answer. 30 in snow at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront, 30 at Midway, and 29 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, a sad morning after yesterday's shooting Southside Hospital, and a police officer, 2 others dead. And this started, Amy, as a domestic, and then it spiraled.
Yeah, and the ER doctor, Dr. Tamara O'Neill, we don't know how long, but she had broken up from her fiance, and they were walking through the parking lot, and he shot her. And witnesses say he shot her not once, but 3 times. And then when she fell to the ground, he shot her again. And then he ran into Mercy Hospital, and people say it was absolutely chaotic what they saw.
And he was shooting at the police. Then he reloaded his gun and turned around and shot again because whoever it was must have been moaning or something. So I'm going to put you out your misery.
I mean, it was just, and they don't know. Then the gunman, and then a pharmacist was killed, the ER doctor, the police officer who was assigned to Mercy Hospital, and then they don't know if the gunman killed himself or if he was shot by police.
The doctor, 38-year-old Tamara O'Neill, that's the ER physician you were describing. The pharmacy resident who was killed, Dana Less, and then the Chicago police officer, Samuel Jimenez, right?
Yeah, 28 years old, joined the force just 18 months ago, son of a cop, brother of a cop, and Superintendent Eddie Johnson just talked about his heroism.
They ran towards that gunfire. So they weren't assigned to that particular call, but they went because that's what we do.
He was talking about other police officers who responded once they got this call.
All units, we're getting a 10-1 outside of Mercy Hospital.
And 10-1 is shots fired, officer down.
Those officers that responded today saved a lot of lives because this guy was just shooting that poor woman that got off an elevator. Had nothing to do with nothing, and he shot. Why? There's no doubt in my mind that all those officers that responded were heroes, and they saved a lot of lives because we just don't know how much damage he was prepared to do.
Well, no question, when you run into a hospital and start shooting, there's no question that Superintendent Johnson is right about that.
Yeah, and relatives said, I'm sorry, O'Neill had been set to marry Lopez in October, but called off the wedding in September. So hospital officials said she was dedicated, caring for her community, also dedicated to her church. She never worked on Sundays. And in a news conference, the officials described her as the best person ever.
So Tamara O'Neill, so my understanding, some of the reporting I heard is that this shooter showed up, he wanted the ring back after she broke off the wedding.
Really? There's other ways to do that, buddy.
Yeah. And so obviously this is a person who is unstable or was unstable or something worse. And but that's how this all started, something so, perhaps emotional, but obviously an unnecessary loss of life.
And Danya Les, the first-year pharmaceutical resident, she graduated from Purdue, was planning to go home to Indiana on today, to spend Thanksgiving with her family. And she was planning to get married in Indiana in 2019.
Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, it's really sad. And, what we don't know is how long it could have gone on before the police endeavored to stop him. What we do know is anyone that works or volunteers in a hospital knows that they're not allowed to concealed carry there. Those stickers are all over the doors, as they are all over the doors of our archdiocesan churches. And it always concerns me that somebody with ill intent knows that there's, other than an armed police officer in this case, that no one in there is going to be able to possibly protect themselves. And then before this mess is even cleaned up, the usual people, and I won't mention their names, some of them local politicians, others national activists, making hay over it about the fact that a gun was used and illegally. And it just saddens me that it gets political so fast, and then we don't get to advocate the notion of what of what I'm saying to you
Yeah,
guys.
soft targets where there's a lot of people, both working and obviously in a hospital setting being cared for. Exactly right. Thanks for the call, Tom. Interestingly, just on this topic of Chicago police, we did these stories over the summer in Chicago City Wire, and then last week Ben Bradley picked it up for WGN News. Didn't give us credit, but that's okay.
Oh, shame on him. Attribution's key, but what?
Yeah, remember the stories we talked about with Chicago SWAT?
Oh, yeah.
How the SWAT team with Chicago police is sort of like an on-call, not a 24/7 SWAT team. We did stories this summer, then again in September. Chicago FOP filed a complaint charging inadequate manpower endangered both the public and fellow police officers with respect to the SWAT team. And let's remember, the SWAT force is, yes, acts of terrorism, hostage takings, public safety crisis, but it's also a rapid response police team. So, an active shooter in a hospital, if it would have gone on longer than it did, that could have certainly demanded a SWAT response. They didn't release a lot of details, but last week, Chicago police saying that they are adding to the ranks of Chicago's SWAT team, Chicago police SWAT team, and now working a 24/7 rotation after the scrutiny that the protocol with SWAT was under and the complaint filed by Chicago FOP. So just a point of order, in a city that has a violence problem like Chicago and that's as big as Chicago, and you compare it to other major cities like LA and New York, it was an abrogation of the civilian political authorities' responsibility to not have 24/7 rapid response police.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Noted author, former chief medical correspondent, and Salon Pass user Dr. Bob Arnott.
The human body has billions of pain receptors. Block those receptors with the anesthetics found in Salon Pass Lidocaine Plus, and you'll have relief. Salon Pass Lidocaine Plus contains 2 anesthetics, including the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription. They numb aggravated nerves for effective, lasting relief. For relief, try what I use, Salon Pass Lidocaine Plus.
In the silver box with the blue wave.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Every business has 2 major goals, right? Bigger profits and lower operating costs. Well, while ComEd might not be able to help you directly grow your profits, they can help you lower your operating costs with instant discounts on energy-efficient LEDs. You'll save money right now, and you'll save again later on your energy bills. For instant discounts and other lighting solutions from the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, visit ComEd.com/lighting solutions. ComEd, powering lives. Here's another turnkey IT happy client.
Hi, this is Joe from Packaging Personified. We're a manufacturer of flexible packaging located in Carroll Stream, Illinois, and also just north of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Packaging Personified manufactures flexible packaging for the food industry and multiple other industries. We happen to be a 24-hour operation running 7 days a week, so we rely on our IT to be 100% solid. We were having a challenging time trying to get our infrastructure to be reliable. This is a problem we've had for some time, and we had gone to other providers and did not have the success we were hoping for. And that's when we found Turnkey IT. We're still in the process of expanding our network to support additional changes that we're making as we grow the business. And with Turnkey IT on our side, we can focus on our business, which is making packaging.
Your business can have great success too, with a full-time IT staff starting at $7.95 a month. From Turnkey IT.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey.pro.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. Stay warm this winter. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for winter storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
There was another police officer who was shot, but listen to this. The bullet struck his holster and embedded itself in his gun. Isn't that strange? I mean, it went penetrated metal. Yeah.
All right, switching gears. We'll get back to that story, but want to note that American patriot and future Nobel Peace Prize winner Jim Acosta has had his full access.
Honors.
Sure.
Right.
Wedding bells almost, yeah. Full access restored.
Oh.
He's back in the White House press pool. We wanted to make sure you knew. I knew you were worried about Jim Acosta and what might happen to him going a week without his press pass.
Well, so the White House decided to drop everything and just let it go, let bygones be bygones.
His hard press pass has been restored. We notify him of certain rules that will govern White House press conferences going forward, said Sarah Sanders. Rules for the kindergartners. These new rules that will govern press conferences include, and I hope they're posted so these kids don't forget.
In all capitals.
No bare feet. No, not that.
No
So what's the
shoes,
other
shirt.
sign? No fighting. What's it mean? No fighting. Yield the floor to other journalists after asking a single question when called upon. May only ask follow-up questions at the discretion of the president or White House officials taking questions. Yielding the floor includes, thank you for defining it, physically surrendering the microphone to White House staff.
Oh, my goodness.
Any member of the press who violates the rules will get a timeout and also a suspension or revocation of their press pass. I mean, I guess if you're going to behave like children, you have to treat them like children.
Oh, my goodness.
What happened when you covered press conferences here with the children that we have actually as the public officials?
When they were standing on little soapboxes.
Yeah.
Had booster chairs so they could see the reporters over the lectern.
Did you just go up and put them on your knee and ask them questions?
Who needs to be burped?
What were the rules governing, say, and access to you covered like the first Mayor Daley, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anton Cermak. How far back do you go?
I go, the original Mayor Daley, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, we'd all shout over each other if it was a big story because everyone wanted to get their questions in, but there was no set rules. And then when they were done with us or sick of us, they would just leave. They would just walk off, like, okay, you peasants, we're gone. We're done talking to you.
So Governor Lennington Small, you covered back in the 20s, didn't have any rules regarding follow-up questions.
No, there were no rules. I mean, you had to apply for a press pass, and then they fingerprinted you and did a background check.
Sure.
Allegedly. I don't know if they ever went through with the background check. But, yeah, that was it. That was,
Did you ever strike anybody's intern or get in a physical altercation with staff or
the only time I ever was bruised ever at work was during the Cook County, during the elections when Tony Perica was
when we stormed the castle.
Yeah. We have audio of that, too, here in the vault.
Wow.
In our secret vault, if we
sure,
ever want to go
back
in
classic
time.
Chicago audio.
Yeah, but people were slapping each other, and I was trying to interview somebody who was guarding the boxes, and then somebody came across and was trying to open the boxes and bruised me up a little bit. But it's all right. I recovered.
That was at the Cook County building.
That was at the Cook County, in the basement of the Cook County building.
Because you were demanding
I want
to
know
what's
going
box.
on. What's in the box? I did say what's in the box.
And was it a head?
No, it was not. It was all these ballots.
Yeah. So all these ballots that had been pre-filled out for Todd Stroger. Sure, I remember.
Exactly. Urkel. And Urkel, I mean, the worst thing ever was when we asked Todd Stroger what he did for fun. If he reads any newspapers, he didn't read any newspapers, and he played video games in his basement. I'm like, okay. I pulled him aside. I said, even if you do that, you might not want to tell people that that's what you do.
Well, now,
but you know what? I mean,
yeah, he was ahead of his time. Now he could make a lucrative living playing video games if he's
he
good enough at Mario Kart or something.
Yeah, he can make. One guy's making $500,000 a month by playing Fortnite, and people are watching him play Fortnite, and that's how much money he makes a month. Dan, it's sick.
I knew it went wrong when I started reading. If I would have just focused on video games instead of reading, I think where I'd be at. Todd Stroger.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll check status on that imaginary caravan, according to MSNBC at 5:38.
And later, Placenta tacos. Yeah, it's a real thing. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Mike Gallagher wants to know what we do with the migrant caravan now.
Portions of this caravan consisting of 900 Central Americans in 22 buses arrived in the northern border state of Sonora, escorted by state and federal police yesterday. We got 7,000 to 10,000 people arriving by bus, by car, by foot. I don't know. They're coming. And what's cable news going to say now?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
A Chicago police officer, a doctor, and a pharmacy resident among the 4 killed following a shooting at a near Southside Hospital. Police investigators say Juan Lopez shot and killed emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill in a parking lot outside of Mercy Hospital yesterday. That was over a domestic dispute. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson explaining that the officer who was killed was trying to stop the suspect.
He and his partner were actually doing something else and responded to the officer needs assistance call. When they pulled up, they heard the gunshots, and they did what the heroic officers always do. They ran towards that gunfire.
Jimenez joined the department in February of 2017, had recently completed his probationary period. Police say he was married and the father of 3 children. In other news this morning, flash flooding now a concern in the burn scar areas ravaged by the deadly Camp Fire in Northern California, blamed for 79 deaths. Thousand Oaks Mayor Andy Fox talked with reporters yesterday about President Trump's visit to Ventura County and fire-plagued areas.
It was an important meeting, certainly for the families, for the president to convey his condolences. It was a somewhat somber tone. The president was kind, he was gracious, very respectful of the families and their loss. All in all, I believe it was a positive visit.
Fox says the president also promised to bring federal aid to California to help with wildfire recovery. General Motors is likely to lay off 3,000 salaried workers in North America after fewer of them took the automaker up on a buyout offer than it hoped. GM officials offered the voluntary buyouts to 18,000 with a goal of at least 7,000 taking the early buyout by yesterday afternoon. A judge in San Francisco is ruling that migrants who enter the U.S. illegally from Mexico can still try to request asylum. The U.S. District Judge on Monday issued a temporary order blocking the Trump administration from refusing asylum claims from those crossing the southern border immediately and did so illegally. A student at Oak Lawn High School accused of threatening to shoot up the Southwest Suburban School on social media has been before a judge in Cook County Juvenile Court. That 15-year-old is charged with making threats of violence or death directed at persons at that school. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a fire that tore through a barn in Warrenville. Blaze broke out yesterday at Galusha Farm. No injuries were reported. Federal prosecutors say 27 carpenters have been ordered to repay more than $500,000 to their union after pleading guilty to health care theft. U.S. Attorney Thomas Kirsch of the Northern District of Indiana said yesterday 27 members of the Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio Regional Council of Carpenters, many of them in Indiana, were ordered to repay a total of $531,000. Documents filed in the case say the carpenters simply filed false medical claims, illegally requesting reimbursement of medical expenses from the union's health care program. Bear quarterback Mitchell Trubisky dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder ahead of the Bears taking on the Lions Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. Blackhawks hit the road to face the Capitals tomorrow night. College hoops last night. Loyola topped Richmond 82-66. Number 3 Gonzaga held on to beat the Fighting Illini in Maui 84-78. 5:34 is our time, and we'll have a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. We have so many wonderful clients, but with me today is someone very special.
Hi, I'm Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. We are a nonprofit student organization battling the bias and indoctrination in America's high schools and colleges every day. We are on over 1,000 campuses and continue to grow. Precision Payroll has been there since day one and has helped us immensely as we grew to a truly national organization. No one in the business is better than Precision Payroll. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Charlie. What you're doing is so important. To learn more and help, go to tpusa.com. That's tpusa.com.
And for your business, let Precision Payroll make a difference for you. Call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or online at precisionpayroll.com.
Thank you, Charlie.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane. Ground Game is a weekly political conversation with AP reporters and guests. Available on Apple Podcasts.
5:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
In South Suburban Lansing this morning on the west side of that suburb, we're seeing closures due to police activity. Stony Island is blocked northbound and southbound between Ridge Road and 175th, and the closure of Thornton Lansing Road between Paxton and 394. Streets have reopened and lanes on 26th Street, south side outside Mercy Hospital after yesterday's shooting. Glenview, signals are out. Central Road and Milwaukee Avenue. Careful at that intersection. The Edens looks good. The Kennedy as well. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. On Stevenson, heavy Cicero to Pulaski and Ashland to the Ryan. 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 18 as well. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. A cold day ahead, clouds and sun. The high of 34, partly cloudy and 27 overnight. Currently 30 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy updating this GoFundMe scam case. This is the case that involved the names are Kate McClure and Mark D'Amico, they set up a GoFundMe page for the ostensible purpose of helping a homeless vet named Johnny Bobbitt.
Yeah, and apparently he helped them out because their car broke down or they ran out of gas, and he gave them his last $20.
And
yes, it was so valiant. And then they started this GoFundMe page, and I don't know
they wanted to raise $10,000. They ended up
Yeah.
raising $400.
Yeah.
Because you've got a homeless Marine vet, and it's a feel-good story about this guy in bad shape who served our country, giving his last $20 as a good Samaritan to help somebody else out, and so it went viral, and they raised all this money.
But the problem is he's not a homeless veteran.
The problem is that the other problem is that they used the $400,000 people donated for themselves.
Right.
Like
What did they buy? What's their grocery list?
there was a trip to California. It's the typical kind of cash and prizes with the reckless way you would spend sort of windfall money.
Right.
Right. Living it up, basically. Well, now yesterday, James Garrow appeared on Good Morning America to say that Mark D'Amico was calling the shots and that Kate McClure, his
partner in crime,
believed she was helping Marine vet Johnny Bobbitt. He said that Miss McClure was in an abusive relationship. She didn't understand or appreciate the fact that what they were doing could very well be a crime. She thought all along that she was trying to help this homeless man.
Wow.
The spending would seem to run counter to that claim. By the way, they've all been indicted. I mean, they're facing prosecution. Here's the audio that's released of D'Amico and McClure by Garrow that he's using to suggest that she was acting in good faith, and it was D'Amico who was the ringleader here.
You don't go to jail for lying on TV, you dumb.
You heard what he said. If this turns into a criminal thing,
you don't go to jail for lying on TV.
You did this. You did this. Everything. You started the whole thing. You did everything. I had no part in any of this, and I'm the one taking the fall. My name is on that.
So now I'm planting the seed. Now it's Jim in the direction.
Because of you. Because of me listening to you.
Oh. So they're saying she was duped by her boyfriend and this homeless man.
She secretly recorded that.
Oh.
No. She secretly recorded it to make these exculpatory statements that she could use to try and insulate herself from prosecution and when it goes wrong, because the reason this was discovered is that Bobbitt sued the couple for mismanagement of the funds. He received about $75,000 in cash, goods, and services. He claims the couple spent the rest, and that's what brought this to the attention of authorities.
Yeah. This get-rich-quick scheme.
Well, I mean, it's also
that's what it is, and it's a scam, obviously. But, now I'm going to think twice before I ever donate to GoFundMe page. I did it one time for a certain coworker.
Yes, well, I mean, I think that. Look,
what'd you do with your money?
I think the point is that, I mean, there is that point about sentimental stories and things that go viral, and there's this rush to, there's this sort of bandwagoning effect. But, I guess.
And they were charged, like that you said last week, with second-degree theft by deception and conspiracy to commit theft.
They suggest that they actually gave Bobbitt, so there's a dispute here, $200,000. D'Amico said Bobbitt spent $25,000 in less than 2 weeks last year on drugs, and then Bobbitt's attorney said Bobbitt was entering a residential program for drug treatment. The couple say they bought Bobbitt a camper with some of the cash, parked it on land the family owned in New Jersey, but Bobbitt became homeless again after D'Amico told him this past June that he had to leave, ostensibly because he was using drugs.
Well, and then couldn't he be? It's stolen valor, charged with that, pretending to be, a military veteran?
No. I don't know.
Or was he really?
No. He was. He served in the military.
He
as
did.
I understand it. Yeah.
Okay.
But the question is, was he also fully complicit in this scheme?
Right.
Yeah. So it's. I think he was in a bad way, and he did serve in the Marine Corps. But is he part of, who's part of this scheme? This is like the prisoner's dilemma game, is whoever cops to it first gets the best deal, and it doesn't look like this crew is going to hold up under pressure, is I suppose the point. They
did spend some of the money. I was right. They bought a BMW and took luxury vacations to Florida and Las Vegas.
Yeah, high-end handbags and the whole thing. So the whole, like, you hear me on that tape saying, I have no part of it, it's all your fault. Well, it doesn't dispense of the charges against her. Number one, because that could have been a setup. Number two, because of what she did. I mean, she's going along with spending all this money. If she thought she was helping a homeless person, how does buying high-end handbags help a homeless person?
Right. Her defense isn't sticking with me.
Yeah.
It's very flimsy.
All right.
But so they
can hang together or hang separately.
Well, 14,000 people, were very giving and gave money, and
and the
interesting try and give it back to them. But there's no money to give.
No. The interesting thing here, this is important for
Yes.
GoFundMe's business model and for people having faith in legitimate GoFundMe causes that they want to participate in. GoFundMe is going to refund the contributions made by those 14,000 donors.
Okay.
So that's how they keep it up, because otherwise, that's how you make sure that GoFundMe is in the same position of the donor, which is wanting to be careful about the causes they allow to be set up and sort of minimize fraud. It's hard to eliminate it altogether, but certainly minimize it and then make whole people who were deceived or defrauded, so that you can have confidence in GoFundMe. So, I mean, it's important to make sure that it's noted that GoFundMe is refunding those donations.
And also, too, prosecutors have 60,000 messages between McClurg and D'Amico. They got these from their iPhones. We're talking about their financial woes and their bills and their debts, and how they began thinking of Bobbitt when the idea of a hoax first took root, because they had seen him before and they thought, oh, maybe we can turn this into something and monetize off this situation.
Yeah. So
her little
her attorney appearing on Good Morning America to play the audio of her strikes me as a continuation of the scam, not a repudiation of it, at least in terms of her involvement.
Yeah, she's not the victim here. But also, too, all three of them could serve up to 5 to 10 years in prison if they're found guilty. So that's going to send a huge message to anybody who thinks, oh, this will be just a get-quick-rich scheme that I can do. Find some homeless guy who we pass all the time on the street, pretend that he helped us out, take a few pictures, put it on social media, boom. But I thought GoFundMe did a better job of, regulating the funds.
Well, again, I don't know.
Don't they take a cut off the top? Or
yeah, but I don't know what their percentage of fraudulent GoFundMe propositions is. I don't know, but
can I start a GoFund Peyton campaign?
Well, you can. We'll see how well that goes for you. I just would say, I mean, sure, you can. That's the point. You go fund anything. If people find value in it, they want to freely give their own money, fine. But I mean, the fact that GoFundMe is holding themselves to account for this speaks to a level of confidence you can have in GoFundMe and some oversight of the causes that are being posted.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Famous Winston Churchill quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Winston Churchill brilliantly stated, "One man with conviction will overwhelm 100 men who have only opinions." That statement qualifies as eternal truth.
It's important we support companies that share our conservative values. If you are a manufacturer, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Kulchar from Automated Systems. As a software and systems integration company, Automated Systems creates custom solutions to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer rejects. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 or a startup, Automated Systems delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, I encourage you, man, to talk to Laz at Automated Systems. Call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. Where has the year gone? It seems like the holidays always sneak up on us so fast. Most retailers do their shopping in the first quarter of the year, but there are some exceptions. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is gearing up now for the biggest season of the year. They want to buy before Christmas. Fox Valley Coins is one of the largest rare coin dealers in the entire Midwest. The sales of precious metals and rare coins and currency has been very brisk this year, so now they're on a huge buying spree. Fox Valley Coins buy all forms of gold and silver bars, coins, and jewelry, and they specialize in the rare and collector coins and currency. Find Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Ferry, just north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. They'll make house calls to your home or bank on larger collections in November. FoxValleyCoins.com. Sure, they'll buy after Christmas, but they're stocking their shelves now. Get to Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Ferry in Naperville or online, FoxValleyCoins.com. FoxValleyCoins.com. Dealers since 1981.
Get ready to make Range Day more awesome. Here's the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list, or for yourself, a Hackett Equipment Range backpack. The Hackett Equipment Range backpack comes in 3 styles of covert quality range backpacks that hold 2 to 4 pistols and carry a lifetime warranty. There's also an attachable rifle bag, tactical shooting glasses, all at affordable prices. You can even join the Hackett Equipment Army with a Hackett Equipment Pocket Pistol t-shirt. Hackett Equipment is a Chicago-based company that shares your values, and they'd like to share a smoking hot discount just for AM 560 listeners. Get 20% off all Hackett Equipment online products for a limited time with promo code AM 560. Plus, all orders over $100 receive free shipping on top of your 20% discount. Make trips to the shooting range easier and more fun by taking everything you need for a day at the range hands-free. Visit gunrangebags.com and see for yourself why Hackett Equipment bags have endless 5-star reviews. Have a blast at the shooting range and save 20% plus free shipping on orders over $100 with promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560.
Stand by your back door and look at your yard. It's become a refuge for a rusty fire pit, a sunken, cracked patio, and a grill that's seen better days. Now think, why keep living with an outdoor space that doesn't make you happy? Your outdoor transformation can start today with AM Woodland Outdoor Design. It's not too late to upgrade your outdoor living space. A custom-built fire pit is a great way to enjoy the crisp fall evenings. The expert team at AM Woodland Outdoor Design will guide you through every step of the process. AM Woodland Outdoor Design can also help with any grading or drainage issues in your yard. Improper drainage and standing water is bad for your home's foundation, a breeding ground for mosquitoes, and can cause ice to build up in the winter. AM Woodland loves to tackle drainage problems that others have given up on. Call them today.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
If you're self-employed and purchase your own health insurance, I have some good news. From now until December 15th, you cannot be denied coverage based on a pre-existing condition, and depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. And this year, thanks to President Trump, If you're healthy and your income is too high to qualify for a subsidy, there is a new and competitive non-Obamacare marketplace where premiums are much lower and the PPO networks include access to our teaching hospitals in Chicago. Employers who provide small group coverage also have new options, and so do seniors looking for Medicare supplement coverage. Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
Hey guys, Ken here from the award-winning podcast Today's Growth. If you had to choose sides, which camp would you rather be in? Would you rather have time and no money, or money and no time? Did you know that 95% of U.S. adults by choice have settled into these categories? Much more interesting is that 1 out of 20 people have built their life around achieving simultaneous control of both time and money. What choices did these 5% make that the others didn't? My friends at Income Store have shown both households and businesses how to build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams for the express purpose of gaining control of time. When it comes to helping folks create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, that music must mean it's time to talk about Blaine volleyball.
Well, you are in charge of the franchise, and we had our championship game yesterday. Hold on, I've got some things to get real quick.
What? Where are you going? Oh, the hardware. Those are nice trophies. Which is?
This is for the 5th and 6th grade girls. We beat Disney in 3 games, and we were down. Listen to this. In the third set, we were down 13-8, and we came back and won. You know why? Because my girls, they don't give up, and they are tough little competitors, and they'll just throw their bodies on the floor to win a game.
Don't they feel guilty about beating a school that named Disney?
No.
Disney World and Disneyland and all the Disney characters.
So they had their mascot there, and we had our mascot, Blaine the Blue Jay mascot. So that's pretty good, huh? Like it? What do you think? You own the franchise.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And then this is even more impressive.
Why wasn't I at the in the locker room with the champagne I'm
going to tweet a picture out of
have this trophy conferred to me as the owner?
Well, we're going to throw it around like the Stanley Cup. People are signing up to take
Is this going to make the rounds around Chicago?
Yeah. We already were at Aurelia's Pizza on Clark and Racine. Then we went to Taco Blonde last night. So we took these guys for a spin.
Nice.
And this is even more important because this is the first team I ever coached, and now they're in 8th grade. They didn't even drop one set this year. 11-0, Blaine Blue Jays, 7th and 8th grade girls. 8th grade girls are the most amazing players. Don't drop it because somebody obviously did, because look at the top. The player.
The player's gone. It's just the foot is left. What kind of trophy is that? What the hell?
Well,
Was the player on the top of the trophy when you got it?
There was a player. We don't know what happened, but we were at the center from Halstead, and somebody told me a guy was walking around with just the top part of the statue.
Some guy ripped a volleyball player off a 7th and 8th grade team's trophy? I mean, what?
No, I think he found it on the ground and was trying to find us to put it back on top. But no, these 8th grade girls are very talented, and they're going to be. I just wish they would all go to the same high school because they could win a state championship. They're that good. We're playing a libero in 7th and 8th grade. I mean, that's what you do in high school. So late junior or senior year in high school. So if anybody wants to take us on, we're thinking that we could take on the winner of the Chicago Catholic League, 5th, 6th, or 7th, or 8th, and just see what happens.
What don't they have like traveling teams or anything?
We do. They play Chicago Elite, but they're not. I don't know if they're all going to be on the same team. I would just love to keep these girls together on the same team and have them go through high school.
You've got a bit of a dynasty going. Why don't the girls take you along with them to high school, to college, to the Olympics?
Oh yeah, and then I can be in their dorm rooms.
No, I mean as the coach, you don't have to actually live with them.
No, I know. It's because at CPS, it's the worst. We don't all go to the same high school. So all these girls, 8 girls, I bet they'll go to 4 or 5 different high schools. So that's why we can't stay together. So, but it's been fun. It was exhausting. I'm exhausted, but proud. And I did something. I think I outcoached the other coaches because the night before the game, I rented out the gym where we played to let them know. I got out the measuring stick and said,
Coach Normandale.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, okay.
Hoosiers.
And
I got
then,
out the measuring stick, let them know. The net is the same height as it is as Blaine.
And then the last
length of the
serve-
court is the same length.
Yeah, and the last serve, Jimmy said, I can make it. So you
Yeah.
gave her the serve.
Jessie is the best player on the 5th and 6th grade team. Her overhand serves were amazing, and she won the game at the end. And I'll tweet that out, and you got to retweet.
Are you going to stay at Blaine even though the kids are off to the Allman Brothers High School?
It's called Amundsen High School. I don't know. I think so. We'll see if they let me. I mean, if I keep passing my background
You're like
checks.
the Dan Gable of girls volleyball in the greater Lakeview area.
You're right. No, and Coach Harms is there too. Coach Harms runs the program too. It's all good. We're a good team.
Well,
Okay? And
congratulations
guess
on your
what?
success.
We don't take L's.
Our success.
Yeah,
right.
our success because you're a sponsor.
Yeah, congratulations to the girls. I hope they got individual medals as well.
Yeah, no, just trophies.
Just
and
a team
t-shirts.
trophy?
And then we'll get T-shirts that say undefeated, never dropped a set. Okay.
Well, I mean, if we could get ticket sales up, I could afford the medals.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up that discussion of the caravan I telegraphed earlier at 6:06.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
4 killed in a Chicago hospital shooting. The very latest coming up on that developing story from our newsroom and Fox. A student charged with threatening to bring a gun to Oaklawn High School. And the Illini lose to Gonzaga. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Another Trump order blocked in court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A federal judge in San Francisco put a temporary restraining order on the president's plan to not allow any immigrant who crosses the border illegally to seek asylum. They can only seek it at designated ports of entry. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal says the suits were filed within hours of the Trump order.
The ACLU says asylum rules have already been determined by Congress, so the president has no authority here. Some Mexicans protested the arrival of the latest Central American caravan in Tijuana, using very similar language as President Trump.
I'm not really in favor of them coming the way they did. To me, it feels like they invaded.
Pakistan is angry at President Trump. Fox's Simon Owen explains why live from London.
Dave, Pakistan's foreign ministry saying it's summoned the top American diplomat in that country to protest comments made by President Trump. The president telling Fox News that Pakistan had harbored al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden before he was killed by U.S. forces 7 years ago.
Living in Pakistan, right next to the military academy, everybody in Pakistan knew he was there.
Pakistan calling the president's remarks baseless rhetoric and totally unacceptable, and claiming Pakistan provided intelligence that helped the U.S. find bin Laden. Dave?
Simon in Chicago was shooting at a hospital. A gunman killed his ex-fiancée, who's an ER doctor, and murdered a police officer and a pharmaceutical assistant walking off an elevator.
This tears at the soul of our city. It is the face and the consequence of evil.
That's Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The gunman's also dead. It's not clear if he killed himself. It's up to 79 people dead now in that wildfire in Northern California. Another 700 unaccounted for. The fire burned down nearly 12,000 homes, including this man's.
I lost my wife in May, so doing a lot of grieving over that, and then have to deal with this.
His wife's ashes now lost among his home's ashes. This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies, some snow showers, especially heavy snowfall across northwest Indiana this morning at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police officer, a doctor, a pharmacy resident among the 4 killed in a shooting at a near Southside hospital. Mayor Rahm Emanuel at Mercy Hospital.
This tears at the soul of our city.
Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson followed the mayor to the microphones, explaining that the officer who was killed was trying to stop the suspect.
He and his partner were actually doing something else and responded to the officer needs assistance call. When they pulled up, they heard the gunshots, and they did what the heroic officers always do. They ran towards that gunfire.
Employees at Mercy Hospital described the panic caused by that shooting yesterday. Our reporter Mark Mayfield has more.
Chaos.
You ever seen a zebra get loose in a zoo? That's what it was like.
That emergency room employee said he did his best to take care of his patients as police attempted to catch the shooting suspect. Chicago police say a female hospital worker was gunned down in the hospital parking lot by a gunman with whom she had a relationship. The gunman then went into the hospital, leading to a shootout inside that killed another hospital worker and a police officer. The gunman was killed, but it's unknown if he shot himself. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel said the shooting, quote, tears at the soul of our city. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
A student at Oaklawn High School is accused of threatening to bring a gun to school on social media. Police now say they were made aware of that threat Sunday on Snapchat, and he was charged yesterday as a juvenile, making a threat of violence or death directed at persons at that school. Charges pending against a suspect who was shot after stabbing a sheriff's deputy on Chicago's South Side. Authorities say deputies responded last night to the corner of 41st and Michigan to arrest Jovian Brewer, who had not checked in with the sheriff's electronic monitoring program since November 7. Chicago sports. Bears on a short week of practice ahead of the Lions, and right now Mitchell Trubisky is questionable. The Bear quarterback has an injury to his right throwing shoulder. Blackhawks hit the road to take on the Capitals tomorrow night. College hoops, Loyola, big win over Richmond. Gonzaga holds on to beat the Fighting Illini 84-78 in Maui. Losses for Chicago State and Illinois State. Rams outlast the Chiefs in Monday Night Football 54-51. The news service of Metro by T-Mobile, now at Metro. Buy a select Samsung Galaxy or LG phone and get a second one free on a new line. Metro by T-Mobile, plus sales tax and activation fee, requires qualifying plan, phone free after all instant rebates, free phone of lesser or equal value. See store for details, terms, and conditions. 6:05, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity just doesn't understand why Florida can't get it right.
It matters to every American here. We've got to get these elections right. And if one more election season is ever allowed to go by in Florida and allow Broward and Palm Beach to do what they're doing, we're never, ever going to get an accurate number already as it is. It is mind-numbing.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class as light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest-growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For just $5 a day, you can sponsor a child through Compassion International. It's pocket change to you. It's life-changing for a child in need. Be part of the change. Become a sponsor now at compassion.com/radio. That's compassion.com/radio.
6:07 and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
In Lansing, Stony Island is closed. In 175th and Ridge Road and Thornton Lansing is blocked off. In Paxton at 394. Kennedy inbound delays are from 190 to Canfield. 24 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. Eastbound Eden Spur is heavy from the Tri-State to Waukegan Road. Got Eisenhower, scattered delays start at Manheim, 34 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. At Stevenson, heavy, Central to Pulaski and Ashland to the Ryan. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. On Ryan, delays are from 95th to 71st, the Stevenson to the Circle. 24 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 17. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Brian May.
Cold today with clouds and sun, high 34. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 28. Chilly tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 36. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low 26. Thursday, clouds and sun, high Thanksgiving Day, 38. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
30 degrees at O'Hare, 30 along the lakefront, 29 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering, bringing Chicagoland together with festive holiday parties for over 25 years. Visit tastycatering.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and I've got some good news for conservatives listening in the Chicago metropolitan area. You live in real America. Yeah, that's right. You may live in the worst governed city in the country, in the worst governed state in American history.
County.
Well, yeah. But you live in real America, and that's not me saying it. That's Paul Krugman saying it, so you know it's true. Paul Krugman's rather remarkable op-ed in the New York Times, Real America versus Senate America. You caught this? Real America versus Senate America. It's an important piece because it gives you an insight into what the left would like to do to reshape all of America, both the real part and the Senate part, you know, as Krugman defines it. Real America is where urban and suburban liberals live. Senate America is where undereducated rural people live. But lest you believe that Paul Krugman is casting aspersions, he writes, none of this is meant to denigrate rural non-college white voters. None of what you're about to hear from Paul Krugman is meant to denigrate rural non-college white voters. In the next paragraph, he writes, not to put too fine a point on it, what Donald Trump and his party are selling increasingly boils down to white nationalism, hatred and fear of darker people, with a hefty dose of anti-intellectualism plus anti-Semitism, which is always part of that cocktail. Don't take that as denigrating.
No, that's not rude.
Anybody. Real America versus Senate America. Are you happy to live in real America here in Chicago Metro? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Here's Krugman's point. 60% of us live in metropolitan areas with more than 1 million people.
Okay.
Conservative politicians may extol the virtues of a real America of rural areas and small towns, but the real America in which we live, while it contains small towns, is mostly metropolitan. And because that is true, he is upset that the Senate gives each state the same number of seats regardless of population. So why should Wyoming, with their 600,000 residents, have 2 Senate seats where California, with 40 million residents, has only 2 Senate seats? You see what he wants to do?
Yeah.
You see where this is going? He wants to, the left will reshape the Constitution if the Senate becomes a problem, just as they'd reshape the Supreme Court if the Supreme Court becomes a problem. And by problem, I mean doesn't go their way in terms of the ideological representation contained
It's
on
like
the
people,
court or in the body.
Yeah, people want to get rid of the Electoral College and just have the popular vote
Sure.
win the presidency. So then what would happen? The East Coast, Chicago, and the West Coast would decide every 4 years who the president is. And that's not fair.
Well, there's a reason why the founders provided 2 Senate seats for every
Each
state. There's also a reason why we have the House and the Senate. They're different, and the terms are different, and so forth. This was laid out. Paul Krugman knows this, doesn't care, is the point. He talks of looking at a growing crisis of legitimacy for the U.S. political system, even if we get through this constitutional crisis looming over the next few months that he has invented. Growing crisis of legitimacy for the U.S. political system. So he's not describing something that exists. He's describing their intention is to undermine the legitimacy in the political system for the purpose of stacking the deck in their favor to populous urban centers on the coasts and, as you said, Chicago as well. The real America versus Senate America. Real America is mainly metropolitan. Senate America is still largely rural. Real America is racially and culturally diverse. Senate America is still very white. Real America includes large numbers of highly educated adults. Senate America, which underweights the dynamic metropolitan areas that attract highly educated workers, has a higher proportion of non-college people and especially non-college whites. I tell you, these non-college whites are a real favorite whipping boy and girl for the left, don't you find?
I know, it's rude and it's degrading. And why do they think that they're elitists and better than those who did not go to college?
None of this is meant to denigrate rural non-college white voters. Yeah. We are all Americans, and we all deserve an equal voice in shaping our national destiny. Remember, this is one of the deep thinkers of the left, according to them. Some of us are more equal than others, and that poses a big problem in an area of deep partisan division. He is essentially complaining that the white rural voter in Indiana or Wyoming or Kentucky
or Wisconsin,
wherever,
or Southern Illinois or anywhere south of I-80
has a larger voice than he has in New York, and he doesn't like it. So it's time to shut you up and shut you out so that Paul Krugman and his friends can run the show. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. I have to say, I think this is nothing new. This is something I've experienced since I was a kid growing up in a college town. The left always uses oppression to try and shut down the views of those that they find don't agree with them, and they want to change systems that keep them in check.
Yes, right. That's right. No, that's exactly right. But it's worth noting, and because I don't think people, thanks for the call, Dan, I don't think people appreciate the lengths to which the left is willing to go to rig the system in their favor. The rules of the game, as outlined in the Constitution, you think, like, that's a good starting point. That's something that shouldn't be cast aside thoughtlessly. Well, that's not their position. And they're happy to cast it aside and remake America in terms of its political system the same way they want to remake America in terms of its economic system, in terms of its cultural and social mores. You think that they'll stop at the political system? It's just worth noting for all of those who fall in line with the deep thinkers on the op-ed pages of the New York Times because they think that's what's smart and cool and civilized and enlightened. Really? That's, again, so many examples of this. Eric Swalwell, this Dem congressman from California.
Yeah, and CNN keeps putting him on like he's the new
Of course they do.
cat's meow or something.
He wants to take your guns, mandatory buyback. So that's called confiscation, something the left used to pretend they didn't want to do. Why pretend? Thank you, Representative Swalwell. I mean, so many examples of the treatment of the girl in the wheelchair that we talked about yesterday in the Old Town Triangle in the city of Chicago. These are all part and parcel of the same really depraved mentality, worldview. So you may want to share some of this information to those that think they're enlightened but are on the side of the barbarians. Mike in Melrose Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm a non-college educated white guy, and I'm in the trades. And a lot of the guys, girls that are like me are in the trades. And we're the guys that keep your car running and fix your faucet when it's leaking. And, I've never had a need for somebody with French literature to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
I don't know where this guy's coming from.
Well, Mike, here's what I'd suggest. If you want to be spared from the coming Krugman gangs, I'd pick up Flaubert's Madame Bovary and give that a read. Just so you say, at least have it on your shelf so you can point to it when the Krugman hordes come for you, okay? Thanks for the call, Mike.
Thank you.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The check engine light is on in Washington, but politicians keep driving the car as if nothing's happening. There it is again. It's Social Security. A new government report says the Social Security Trust Fund will run out by the year 2034, and that its costs will exceed revenues this year for the first time in more than 3 decades. What does that mean for you? When should you start taking benefits? When should your spouse? And how can you get every dollar of Social Security you're rightfully entitled to? Find out what your choices could be by getting a copy of the Social Security Decision Guide from Taboda and Associates. They've been helping clients tune up their retirement decisions for more than 35 years. And even though they don't work for the government, they know Social Security. Call right now, 630-883-4577, and we'll send you the guide. That's 630-883-4577. Find out how to get every dollar of Social Security you're rightfully entitled to. Call 630-883-4577. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
I have discovered the perfect way to get my monthly medications. They come right to my door, right to my home, gogomeds.com. This is an incredible new way for you to have all your prescription medications filled at a lower price without ever having to go to the pharmacy. Have you heard of GoGoMeds? GoGoMeds.com is a breakthrough online pharmacy, and it's for all of us who want lower costs on prescription medications and who don't want to sit behind 10 cars at the drive-thru or wait in line all day at the pharmacy. Imagine that. Your doctor simply sends your prescriptions to GoGoMeds, and then your medicine is delivered to your home. I get my hay fever medication like clockwork from GoGoMeds.com. You can select from an extensive list of generic drugs online. That'll save you even more money. The reason they save you money is because they partner directly with the manufacturers. Go to GoGoMeds.com, promo code Mike2018. You'll get $10 off your first prescription, and you're going to love this process. I sure do. GoGoMeds.com. Use the promo code Mike2018.
Where has the year gone? It seems like the holidays always sneak up on us so fast. Most retailers do their shopping in the first quarter of the year, but there are some exceptions. Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is gearing up now for the biggest season of the year. They want to buy it before Christmas. Fox Valley Coins is one of the largest rare coin dealers in the entire Midwest. The sales of precious metals and rare coins and currency has been very brisk this year, so now they're on a huge buying spree. Fox Valley Coins buy all forms of gold and silver bars, coins, and jewelry, and they specialize in the rare and collector coins and currency. Find Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 in Ferry, just north of I-88 at the Naperville-Warrenville border. They'll make house calls to your home or bank on larger collections in November. FoxValleyCoins.com. Sure, they'll buy after Christmas, but they're stocking their shelves now. Get to Fox Valley Coins on Route 59 and Ferry in Naperville or online, foxvalleycoins.com. foxvalleycoins.com. Dealers since 1981.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had my yearly physical and all my tests and everything, and they were wonderful. In fact, my doctor said everything came back and it's fantastic. So, and my blood pressure was down 20 points. So, yeah, it was kind of high, but now it's okay. So,
so I think that the balance of nature is a big deal for me, and I feel good. You know, I generally feel not up like crazy, but I feel happy. All the nutrition, all the nutrients that I needed or need, I'm getting. I feel good that way.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Fall has finally gotten here, and of course, the fun starts to move indoors. Think about nice, cold winter days. You know, there's one home improvement project that can get you ready for the fall and winter months. It's changing your window treatments. Look around. You have ugly Venetian blinds, maybe some threadbare curtains. SelectBlinds.com. Interior designers agree that one of the easiest ways to improve a room's appearance is by upgrading your old blind shades and shutters. And Select Blinds makes this such a breeze. With products you've seen on all your favorite home improvement shows, SelectBlinds.com is the easy way to update. They really are the simple and smart way to get window treatments. They have the most online reviews and 5-star ratings on the planet. More than 1 million satisfied customers. I'm one of them. I've got blackout shades from Select Blinds in my home. To get the best deals on blind shades and shutters, just shop today. Go to SelectBlinds.com, mention the Mike Gallagher Show at checkout using the drop-down menu, and let my friends at SelectBlinds.com upgrade your home today. SelectBlinds.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, updating our top story this morning, which is the murder of 3 people at Mercy Hospital on Chicago's South Side, a ER doctor, as well as a pharmacological resident, and a Chicago police officer responding to a domestic incident that spiraled.
Yeah, this is what happened. Dr. Tamara O'Neill, ER doctor there at Mercy Hospital, well loved. She just, they described her literally as the best person ever. They said she was dedicated to her church, a community leader, never worked on Sundays because of her, relationship and how important it was for her to be in church every Sunday. But she recently broke off an engagement with 32-year-old Juan Lopez, and he apparently wanted the ring back, Dan, something that you mentioned earlier. But here's a witness who heard it and saw it.
All I know is that he asked for a ring, just give me the ring. And she said she didn't have it. And next thing I know, she started going back around. She came from around the front of the van, and the guy comes really quickly from behind the van and then just pulls out a gun and shoots her 6 times before she even hits the ground.
And another witness said that she was moaning, and that's when he finished her.
And he was shooting at the police. Then he reloaded his gun and turned around and shot again because whoever it was must have been moaning or something. So I'm going to put you out your misery.
And that was the 25-year-old
Dana
Les, who recently graduated from Purdue, planning to go home today to spend Thanksgiving with her family. And she's also was planning to get married in Indiana in 2019. I mean, this is a week about peace and togetherness. Instead, a Chicago families mourning police officer who responded. He's out of the 2nd District, responded to shots fired at Mercy Hospital, ran toward the gunfire, on the job for just 18 months, had just finished his probationary period, 28 years old, father of 3.
Please say a prayer for that police officer and his family and for those other victims.
Samuel Jimenez is his name. Kevin Graham, FOP president, said today, the FOP lost a valued brother, a courageous police officer who got up this morning, went to work, wanted to protect the city of Chicago. He did that today, and he did so with his life. And, of course, 200 patients were being cared for at the time of the shooting, according to the chief medical officer at Mercy Hospital. And so it could have been much, much worse had not that officer arrived on the scene and engaged the shooter. And ultimately, we're not certain whether the shooter turned the gun on himself or whether he was shot and killed by Jimenez. But no question, his response saved a lot of lives that were jeopardized by this maniac who decided to resolve a dispute with an ex-girlfriend by committing murder.
It's so ridiculous. It's so sad. And those police officers who did respond are being hailed as heroes.
They ran towards that gunfire. So they weren't assigned to that particular call, but they went because that's what we do. Those officers that responded today saved a lot of lives because this guy was just shooting that poor woman that got off an elevator. Had nothing to do with nothing, and he shot. Why? There's no doubt in my mind that all those officers that responded were heroes, and they saved a lot of lives because we just don't know how much damage he was prepared to do.
Well, we'll see how quickly this will get politicized by the 42 candidates for mayor of the city of Chicago and all the other gun confiscation polls that are meandering around the city and this state. We'll talk to one, by the way. Gary Chico will join us at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, so we'll tackle this issue with him as well as many others.
Yeah. But right now, let's go into the newsroom, check in on the latest details on this story, and from news around the country, here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We continue to follow this developing story this morning. A Chicago police officer, a doctor, pharmacy resident among the 4 killed following a shooting at Chicago's Mercy Hospital yesterday. The gunman, identified as Juan Lopez, shot and killed emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill in a parking lot outside Mercy Hospital over a domestic dispute. He then exchanged gunfire with police before rushing inside that hospital. It is there that he gunned down pharmacy resident Dana Less and Officer Samuel Jimenez. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
He and his partner were actually doing something else and responded to the officer needs assistance call. When they pulled up, they heard the gunshots, and they did what the heroic officers always do. They ran towards that gunfire.
Chairman of the Emergency Department of Mercy Hospital, Dr. Patrick Connor, remembers the Chicago officer who lost his life.
Officer Samuel Jimenez, who's just 28 years old. And we cannot thank him enough for his courage and bravery today.
Officer Jimenez was on the Chicago force for less than 2 years. The 28-year-old leaves behind a wife and 3 small children. In other news this morning, at least the troops that President Trump sent to the southern border will likely be home by Christmas. Army Lieutenant General Jeffrey Buchanan saying yesterday the current plan is to have the mission of supporting the Border Patrol wrapped up by December 15th. At least 36 students at a North Carolina school with a heavy anti-vaccine population have been sickened following a massive outbreak of the chickenpox virus. The outbreak hit the Asheville Waldorf School in Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville Waldorf in the 2017-2018 year had a higher rate of exemptions for vaccinations than all but 2 other schools in the state. Of the school's 152 students, 110 have not received the chickenpox vaccine. An elderly woman is dead here in Chicago, struck by a vehicle on Chicago's southwest side. Police continue to investigate after the victim was said to be crossing the street late last night in the 7400 block of South Cicero Avenue. The driver of the vehicle that struck that woman was cited following the incident. Charges are pending against a suspect who was shot after stabbing a sheriff's deputy on Chicago's south side. Deputies responded last night to the corner of 41st in Michigan to arrest Jovian Brewer, who had not checked in with the sheriff's electronic monitoring program since November 7. Brewer stabbed one of the deputies in the head before another deputy shot and tasered him. Chicago sports. Bears on a short week of practice, and right now the only major name on the injury report is Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder. He was hurt in Sunday night's win over the Vikings. Blackhawks hit the road to face the Capitals tomorrow night. College hoops, Loyola, big win over the Richmond Spiders. While number 3, Gonzaga held on to beat the Fighting Illini in Maui 84-78. Trent Frazier did have 29 in the loss. Rams outlast the Chiefs Monday Night Football 54-51. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
One thing became painfully apparent this past election cycle. There are forces out there trying to destroy the America we know. And guess what? Those forces are still there. The election didn't change that. All this election did was restart the clock. In 2 years, we'll have to stand up and do it all again. Are we going to let the forces of darkness take back this country? Or are we going to stand up and fight for what's right? Stick with this station to get your marching orders. AM 560, The Answer.
Hello, I'm Lou Bridges. The 2008 housing crisis hit everybody hard, and it's not over yet. In the wake of the crisis, the government passed legislation and created a special federal agency just for the purpose of protecting consumers. If you're facing foreclosure or have been subject to unfair, harassing creditor behavior, there are laws to protect you. But you have to know those laws in order to use them and get the relief you need. Whether you're facing foreclosure, about to lose your home to a big bank or mortgage loan servicer, or if you were injured in an accident and need help in getting what you deserve from an insurance company, call our offices today. The big banks, mortgage loan servicers, and insurance companies have teams of aggressive lawyers fighting for them. And if you need help with dealing with a big bank, mortgage loan servicer, or an insurance company, you need someone fighting for you. I've been representing people in Illinois for almost 40 years in these fields. Call my office today for a free consultation. Call us at 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. 224-513-1231. Lou Bridges and Associates, lawyers for people.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's actually really been helping my system and my lupus and my gastro problems. So I'm actually very happy with the product.
Acid reflux is pretty much under control. That's why I keep taking it.
I have noticed, I'm sleeping better since I started taking the Balance of Nature and all the other things I'm doing.
I can't believe how wonderful your product is. I listened to you guys on the radio for years and years and years, and I listen to all the testimonials. I go, well, it's probably time to give it a try, and I've been just happy as can be ever since.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
It is 6:35. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
In North Chicago, there's a crash on 41 at Martin Luther King Drive. In Lansing, closures, Stony Island, and Ridge at 175th. At Thornton Lansing, 394 in Paxton, police activity. Inbound Edens, 23 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose. On Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 14 from Montrose, 12 in the Express. Outbound 22 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, 36 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 33. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 37. The Ryan is 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 17. I-57, Bishop Ford, 17 minutes, I-80 to Verge. The northbound tri-state will see delays from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Silway to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Cold day ahead, clouds and sun mixed, and a high of 34. Partly cloudy and 27 overnight. Currently, we have some light snow flurries across the area, 30 degrees, heavier snow in northwest Indiana. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Advice for the Trump administration. Leave Acosta and CNN alone. Leave them alone. we'll talk about that when freedom returns at 5.
Oh my gosh.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. The migrant caravan making its way up through Mexico to the U.S. border. Not exactly having the red carpet rolled out for them.
No.
And I'm not talking about the Americans. I'm not talking about the U.S. military. I'm not talking about Border Patrol. I'm not talking about President Trump. I'm talking about the Mexican residents of Tijuana.
They are not happy at all. This is what they said it's going. It's like if somebody came on your streets and set up tents. Can you imagine if somebody, just a huge caravan of people, I think I'll stay here for the night, set up tents. They said they're defecating places. They're not cleaning up after themselves.
It's like
but
San
the worst
Francisco.
part is, yeah, it is. But the worst part is they said they are so rude. They are rude to the people who live there, who call that place home, who just want their streets back. One group set up camp in a school playground. I mean, are you kidding? Their kids, they're trying to go to school, and there's tents popping up everywhere. And they just said that they feel so entitled.
Listen
and
to
it's sick.
one demonstrator waving a Mexican flag marching through Tijuana on Sunday. Talked to NPR. Her name, Magdalena Baltazar.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Tijuana is a place that welcomes anyone, but you must have papers. You must identify yourself. We work hard here. We don't get handouts. The government shouldn't be giving things to migrants when plenty of Mexicans are in a difficult position. Boy, that sounds very similar to a lot of Americans as it pertains to our willy-nilly approach to illegal immigration, or at least the left's desire for a willy-nilly approach to illegal immigration. So when Magdalena Baltazar, a Mexican resident of Tijuana, says the same thing that many Americans are saying, is she a racist? Is she a xenophobe? I mean, does it have a lot less to do, as it turns out, of course we knew this, but with skin color or ethnicity than it does with mentality. What's going on between the ears and a desire for rules of the game that everybody has to abide. You don't get to temper tantrum your way around the rules.
Well, speaking of rules, late last night, a federal judge in San Francisco blocked new rules put into place by President Trump that limit the ability of migrants to request asylum.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's kind of a legal blow to the administration's efforts to curb legal immigration, but that's what happened
that'll
last
get
night.
appealed, and that's a absurd decision that you're going to get as different groups forum shop for the opinions they want on these matters. Now, the flip side is they shut down the busiest border crossing between Mexico and California yesterday, did U.S. border officials. All vehicular traffic flowing north from Mexico into California
was shut down
at the San Ysidro port of entry, which processes 20,000 pedestrians, 70,000 vehicles moving from Tijuana to San Diego each day. All passenger and commercial lanes, one of the two pedestrian lanes, shut down.
Wow, that's huge news. I mean, if anybody's ever lived on a border town, I mean, that's amazing. And then, so what? I mean, that's the thing. What do we do now? I mean, where are these people going to go? Because I feel bad for the people in Tijuana who just want their clean streets. They want their front yards back. They want their parks back.
They also don't want criminals imported into their community. Customs and Border Protection closed those lanes, in part because, according to the Department of Homeland Security, more than 500 criminals are traveling with the migrant caravan that's massed on the other side of that border crossing. So we don't want to just let them into San Diego, nor should we. Tijuana residents don't want them just to be allowed in and financed by the Mexican government in Tijuana, and that's understandable. So it's time to disperse, I would say. President Trump has said they're not coming in, and I'm glad he means it, because they shouldn't be coming in. You don't get to temper tantrum your way into this country. I don't care how many of your friends you bring along with you.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. And I have changed my position on this by 100%. I used to think, no, they can come in. I feel bad because there are some people that are seeking asylum that I know have had rough lives. But
Of
this
course.
is not the way to do it. This can't be the way to do it. And I don't like the arrogance with this group of people. With, from storming, we're going to take this to Trump, to waving their Honduran flag, their Guatemalan flags, now their Mexican flags. It's just, there's something different about this one as opposed to other caravans.
Remember the Ami Horowitz video that we played last week? He went down, spent some time with the caravan. He talked to some people. He's documenting all of this. It's 90 to 95% men per his report. It's being organized. It's well organized. The logistics are taken care of. This is not organic. A group called Workers Without Borders, they wear these black T-shirts to identify themselves, are sort of in charge. And so, again, you have several thousand people, most of them not criminals. Most of them probably just want economic opportunity. And that's what they told Ami Horowitz. Some of them have been victimized by the criminals or unsavory element that is part of this caravan. That's what they told Ami Horowitz. So, of course, I have empathy for decent people looking for economic opportunity and, just sort of being kind of going along or being shuffled along with this caravan because they think, I don't know, maybe this is my only chance to get into the country or whatever. It's wrong, but it doesn't mean they have bad intentions. However, 500 criminals that our Department of Homeland Security has identified. Now, if that's not true, then tell me it's not true. And let's go chapter and verse with Homeland Security on the people that they have identified. I'm going to defer to their resources and knowledge of how to identify people. It also sort of stands to reason. And then you have like the professional political activists, like these the groups that are represented as helping to shepherd the caravan up to the U.S. border. So it's easy enough to just divide up the individuals we're talking about and the agendas we're talking about, and that's what reasonable people should do.
And it just makes me sick because I'm an anal Swede. The mess that they are leaving behind, they don't even pick up garbage after themselves. So, I mean, you should see these towns are just trashed they've walked through.
Wasn't Anal Swede the name of your college band?
It was a Bengals cover band.
Oh.
Yeah. We performed at many places. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand trash. Nothing bothers me more.
Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I'm getting a little tired of every time the president tries to do something to protect this country, that the Ninth Circuit, some liberal, goofy judge, jumps in against it. Where were these liberal, goofy judges when Obama was letting these illegals into the country and Kate Steinle got killed? I think they should publish the names and addresses of these federal judges.
Wow.
And when someone's loved one gets killed, you know who to go after in a civil suit.
In a civil suit.
Make
yes.
these people, make these people responsible for their illegal actions.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Marty in Naperville.
Good morning.
Morning.
Listen, this is going to sound kind of stupid, but there are help wanted signs everywhere. You come to this country, here's your papers, and here's your job. Well, that job's in Chicago. Well, so what? You got here 2,000 miles north, you can get to Chicago. You want to come here, here's your job. There are help wanted signs everywhere.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thanks for the call, Marty. I mean, I don't think it's stupid. That's sort of my point, actually. I think you're going in the right direction, pun intended. People want to come here and make a better life for themselves. Let's know who you are and confirm that you want to do that and waive off welfare state benefits and, get to work. Get right to work on pursuing your dream. Great. Love it. Big fan. Totally on board. Temper tantrum your way in without any idea of what your true intentions are, who you are? No. And not to mention, per the temper tantrum line, jumping the line. No. Russ in Elmhurst.
Oh, hi, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I'm glad you're okay. Anyway, listen,
Were we in jeopardy?
I'm going to keep this really nice. Okay, Dan, you mentioned the Workers Without Borders, right?
Yes.
You know who they are, correct?
Well, I know they're an organization.
You know who they're the union. They're the union thugs from the SEIU, from Acorn, from all the rest of the DNC that uses them as their thug brown shirts, and I'm tired of it. They're going to cause a war has never been seen in this civilization, let alone this country. They're going to cause some real problems. And you know what? The people coming over the border, they don't want to be Americans. All they want is the money. They have no thought and no care about what the ideals are of this country. None at all. They are the enemy, and that's the way I consider them all.
Well,
plain and simple.
Well, thanks for the call. Well, we disagree about all because I just don't think that's the case, and I think there's a lot of evidence and a lot of people that suggest that's not true. So I need to treat them like that. I just think it's easy. I just think this is so simple. Here are the rules. Here's what you have to do to get into the country and stay in the country and work in the country. And here's the information we need. And then here's the opportunities you're going to be able to access if you get here. And you are who you say you are, here to do what you said you want to do. Why is that complicated? And again, and this may put me at odds with some erstwhile allies on the issue, but I'm pro-legal immigration. I'm pro.
I am too.
I know you are. I'm pro a temporary worker program per Marty from Naperville. I'm open-minded about that. Reducing the time it takes to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. I'm all for that. So what is the left's real agenda when that position they would describe as racist, like Juan Williams did last week when we were talking about the caravan on this show? What is their real agenda? It's not a better life for people that are trying to get into this country by any means necessary. That's not their agenda. Alan on the south side.
Hello, Dan and Amy. Good morning. A friend of mine just came back from Cabo, Mexico, and he's from Texas. He's a Tex-Mex. And so we were talking about it, and he said that's all they're talking about is the caravan in Mexico. And when he was down in El Paso at his house, his relatives were calling from Mexico saying that these people are like literally, as you reported, slobs and just leaving stuff everywhere. And they were not walking. They have buses and semis picking up their tents.
Right.
And they have buses picking them up, and they walk part-time. Yet the news media shows us a different picture altogether.
No question. Thanks for the call, Alan.
Can you imagine if that happened here? People set up on Rahm Emanuel Street, because there's a park 3 doors down from them, just took over. Actually,
we had that, Occupy Wall Street.
Oh, that's right. And then they brought in the bulldozers and said, bye-bye.
And also, they just don't have the stick-to-itiveness. I mean, thank the good news of the left, at least the snowflake component of the left, is they're not long on fortitude. But what Alan was describing, that's what we saw in Ami Horowitz's video. That was that he's a documentarian. He shot this footage and then he talked about it on Fox News last week on Tucker Carlson's show and elsewhere. Now the flip side, I want to raise the profile in this case. Asia Bibi. Asia Bibi is the Roman Catholic mother of 5, sentenced to death in Pakistan in 2010 for blasphemy. She was acquitted by the Pakistani Supreme Court about 2 weeks ago. And she has been seeking asylum because she is not safe in Pakistan. The Pakistani government, by the way, is once again succumbing to the demands of the Islamic extremists there. They've agreed to step aside and allow the extremists to put Bibi on a flight risk list to prevent her from leaving the country, as well as to file an appeal against the Supreme Court's decision acquitting her of the blasphemy charges. They want her executed. Roman Catholic mother of 5. And the Western European countries that refuse to entertain an asylum application for Asia Bibi because they're afraid, Britain being the most notable and disturbing example, they're afraid of what their now indigenous Islamic populations will do, how they will react. What a disgrace the West has become. We are nothing, this country, and if not a haven for truly persecuted people. I'm not talking about people who are just looking for economic opportunity. I'm talking about people who are under threat of death because of their religious beliefs or political beliefs. That's what asylum's for. Asia Bibi in Pakistan is. Donald Trump would do well to provide a teachable moment right here about immigration laws, about this country's nature and values and principles, about the asylum designation for who it is reserved, and signal and tell the Pakistani government that this country will provide asylum to Asia Bibi, so get her on a plane. And this is part of the conversation, too. Where is the left talking about the Asia Bibi case? Where are they? Don't they care about asylum for a Pakistani mother of 5? Why not cover this case? Why do you not see breaking news chyrons on CNN about Asia Bibi? Consider that question, too.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Investors hoping for a rebound on Wall Street. General Electric shuffles its management at its power unit, and Democratic senators sue over Whitaker's appointment as Attorney General. Those stories next.
Mom always used to say you are what you eat, and she was right. But who knows what's healthy anymore? Here's something. Drink Super Beets. Super Beets is a circulation superfood. Just 1 glass a day helps give you the cardiovascular power of this amazing vegetable. Why is this important to you? It's all about healthy blood flow. If you're over 40, your body may be losing its efficiency around energy, stamina, and even maintaining healthy blood pressure. Drinking good-for-you superfoods helps feed your body's cardiovascular and circulatory system and boost your stamina and energy at the core level. Professional and college athletes trust Super Beets to help them be their best, and you should too. Go to elderbeets.com and try Super Beets for yourself. And right now you get an additional 30-day supply of Super Beets for no additional cost with your first order, plus free shipping. Go to elderbeets.com today or call 800-996-3406. 800-996-3406.
Investors hoping for recovery after yesterday's big sell-off triggered by trade worries, concern over iPhone demand, and upheaval at Facebook. GE shuffling leadership at its power unit in its ongoing effort to gain control of its operations. The management changes come less than 2 months after the ouster of GE CEO John Flannery. He served just a year on the job, and they've got an $8 stock. 3 Democratic senators have filed a lawsuit challenging the president's appointment of Matthew Whitaker as acting attorney general. Whitaker replaced Jeff Sessions. He oversees the Mueller investigation as well. The left-wing complaint was filed by Senators Blumenthal, Hirono, and Whitehouse. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Arizona's Republican Governor Doug Ducey earned 44% of the Latino vote en route to his easy re-election. No hand recount for Governor-elect Ron DeSantis in Florida, who garnered 44% of the Latino vote and 14% of the black vote. The 400,000 Florida kids and 260,000 Arizona kids who benefit from school choice, the majority from minority families, are reshaping the GOP's electoral coalitions in those states. White Guilt author Shelby Steele argues this occurrence is more than a powerful argument for school choice. It's a messaging imperative for conservatives. As Steele told me, black families have moved beyond the idealism of the civil rights era to search for pragmatic answers to economic concerns the welfare state not only failed to address, but worsened. By contrast, Champaign socialists in the leafy suburbs are in search of a moral calling. The Black Lives Matter yard sign in the lawn of your local Mayflower descendant should have been a tip-off. Bottom line, we've been making the wrong arguments to the wrong constituents. Fiscal conservatism has limited appeal to the vanguard class, as does pantomiming Al Sharpton with minority families. For the latter, it's money they lack. For the former, to borrow from James Earl Jones and Field of Dreams, it's money they have and peace they lack.
Songs have been written about it, wars have been fought over it, and just holding it in the palm of your hands is magnificent. Silver and gold have been bartered, bought, and sold for centuries, and now is the time for you to invest in one of the most recognized financial assets and ensure your portfolio is guarded against inflation and a declining dollar. For such an exclusive opportunity and investment, put your trust in Kedzie Coins. Kedzie Coins is an accredited precious metals dealer member with family roots in the heart of Chicago. And as members of the Professional Numismatics Guild, they are committed to the strictest standards of excellence and ethics. With one of the largest selections of gold and silver bullion minted in the U.S., Kedzie Coins is your destination to buy American. Visit one of their 3 locations, Kedzie Coins and Jewelry on 59th and Kedzie in Chicago, What a Gem Jewelry and Coins in Berwyn, or the flagship store, Broadway Jewelry and Rare Coins in Bradley, just north of Kankakee. For questions or to set up an appointment, call 773-436-0777.
Now playing.
What are you fighting for?
Gotta do what my father couldn't. The movie event, 40 years in the making.
Drago's kid. It's dangerous.
Arrives.
You got people that need you now.
Creed 2 will make the whole family stand up and cheer. Michael B. Jordan.
We gotta do this together because we're a team.
Sylvester Stallone.
Now you know what you're fighting for.
What's your name? Creed 2, rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. Now playing. It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560. The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
A triple murder outside and inside a Chicago hospital. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
As I go to step onto the sidewalk from the bus, I hear pop, 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 and I hear the shots, gunfire, about 6 shots.
What he heard was a man murdering his ex-fiancée, an ER doctor, then getting into a gun battle with police. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more details live.
Investigators say an argument in the parking lot of Mercy Hospital is what started the domestic dispute that led to the deadly shooting. Officials say emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill had been in a relationship with the attacker. Pharmacy tech Dana Less had recently graduated from Purdue, too.
Officer Samuel Jimenez, who's just 28 years old, and we cannot thank him enough for his courage and bravery.
That's Dr. Patrick O'Connor. Officer Jimenez had been on the force less than 2 years. Police say it's not clear if the gunman took his own life or was shot by officers, Dave.
Tanya, there's a manhunt in Missouri for a murderer who walked into a Catholic supply store yesterday in the St. Louis suburb of Baldwin, sexually assaulted one woman, then shot another in the head, then took off. In wildfire-charred Northern California, rains in the forecast, which could cause mudslides and be bad for the thousands who lost homes living in tents.
So we're getting tarps and stuff like that. It's been rough, but we're making do.
It's up to 79 people dead. The search continues for 700 still unaccounted for. President Trump blocked in court again. This time it's his order aimed at stopping some of the migrants in that Central American caravan from seeking asylum after crossing anywhere along the border.
A federal judge in San Francisco has ruled that they cannot apply these new rules that would have required that immigrants only pass through designated border checkpoints in order to claim asylum.
Fox's Doug Luzader. Did Ivanka Trump use personal email to conduct government business working for her father in the White House? The Washington Post reports she did and may have violated federal records rules, but her lawyer tells Fox there was never classified information transmitted and no emails were ever deleted. This is Fox News.
30 degrees and gray skies. Some light snow showers still crossing the area. Heavier snow in northwest Indiana at 7:02. On AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police officer a doctor, a pharmacy resident among the 4 killed following a shooting at a hospital yesterday. Authorities identify the gunman as Juan Lopez, who shot and killed emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill in a parking lot outside of Mercy Hospital. That was over a domestic dispute. Lopez then entered the hospital and gunned down pharmacy resident Dana Less, then Officer Samuel Jimenez, Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
He and his partner were actually doing something else and responded to the officer needs assistance call. When they pulled up, they heard the gunshots, and they did what the heroic officers always do. They ran towards that gunfire.
In other news this morning, a student at Oak Lawn High School is accused of threatening to bring a gun to school. Did so on social media on the platform Snapchat. The 15-year-old was later questioned by detectives and admitted to posting the threat. He was charged yesterday as a juvenile with making a threat of violence or death directed at persons at that school. Charges are pending against a suspect who was shot after stabbing a sheriff's deputy on Chicago's South Side. Authorities say deputies responded last night to the corner of 41st Street and Michigan Avenue to arrest Jovian Brewer, who had not checked in with the sheriff's electronic monitoring program since November 7th. Week-long period for candidates vying to become Chicago's next mayor begins to file their nominating petitions. Former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis, businessman Willie Wilson, Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle, Attorney Jerry Joyce, and others filed their petitions. Preckwinkle and Wilson estimate their signatures at 60,000, Vallis at 50,000. Bears are on a short week of practice and may be practicing without quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, who's dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder, hurt in Sunday night's victory over the Vikings. College hoops last night, Loyola, a big win over the Richmond Spiders. Number 3, Gonzaga had to hang on for dear life to beat the Fighting Illini, 84-78 at the Maui Invite. The news service of the Ad Council and gradsoflife.com. Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as its people. So where do you find the best people? Meet the Grads of Life, young adults, ideal for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. Talent worth knowing about. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn more. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's so nice now that the kids are asleep.
Cheers.
We got the kids, our house, a stable income.
Checking off all the boxes.
But there's one box we haven't checked off.
What's that?
Life insurance.
We don't need to think about that now. We're young.
That's why now is the best time. Life insurance gets more expensive the older you get.
But I don't have time to do a blood test. It's such a hassle to meet with someone just to get a quote.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos?
It's a modern kind of life insurance. You just answer 4 quick questions at getethos.com and get a free instant quote. No pushy salespeople. And no medical exams required for policies covering under $1 million. You can apply online in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Let's do it.
But then what will we do for the rest of the night?
I'm sure we can think of something.
Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Classes light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chris Veldman of ServiceMaster DSI, the largest ServiceMaster franchise in the United States and a customer of Signature Bank. In our business, we respond to disaster, and we never know when disaster will strike, whether it's flooding in Louisiana or a house fire in Chicago. Not all banks understand that need for flexibility, but Signature Bank does. That's why we consider them so much more than a bank. They have been our business partner since 2006, when their three co-founders, Mick, Kevin, and Brian, started the bank. Signature Bank is a key part of our growth strategy at ServiceMaster DSI.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
7:08. Check on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
In northwest Indiana, traffic is heavy on I-65 this morning northbound from 61st Avenue to 8094. Northbound Tri-State Tollway, it's stop and go from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Their tollways are okay. Eden's inbound delay started 2 30 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, how about 20? Inbound Kennedy, 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 18 from Montrose, 12 in the Express. How about 34 minutes to the airport? Inbound Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown. How about 35? Inbound Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. How about 37? Ryan is 27 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 29. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Brian May.
Cold today with clouds and sunshine, high 34. Patch of clouds tonight, low 28. Chilly tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 36. Thanksgiving Day, clouds and sunshine, high Thursday, 38. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
29 at O'Hare, 31 along the lake, 28 this morning in Aurora. Your next update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. How would Chicago have been different had Gary Chico defeated Tiny Dancer in 2011?
I supported him back then. I remember.
I supported him, too, against Tiny Dancer. I mean, it wasn't a close race. There was no runoff because Tiny Dancer got 55% of the vote because he was a tough little tyke who was going to come in town and make the tough decisions. Well, 7 years later, we realized, I realized that the rest of us now have gotten hip to the idea that was a big fraud. So 7 years later, does Gary Chico have a bit of I told you so to say? And what does he offer in the context of what has been wrought, not just in Tiny Dancer's 7 years, but all of the bills that have piled up for the last several generations that are coming due, like $1 billion spike in pension payments next year. Golly, I hope it's not what Dorothy Brown is suggesting.
Yeah, tell us again.
I mean, honestly.
She's the person that if you wore jeans to work on Friday, or you'd have to pay $3 on Fridays to wear jeans.
Well, how else is she going to raise campaign cash?
Yeah, she got in trouble for that.
She proposed a city lottery, also the sale of naming rights to government buildings. Including O'Hare and Midway.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Butch O'Hare and
O'Hare,
family.
Yeah. It's over.
Yeah,
we had a good run.
Yes, O'Hare and Midway, Battle of Midway. Now we can, I don't know, name it for
Pritzker Strip?
I don't know.
Oh, hey.
Madigan Getzendaner Airport.
It would be Madigan because he has the government plane, right, or the governor's plane right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options here. We have to look at creative ways of financing. What about a city-sponsored lottery? We probably contribute the most to the Illinois lottery, so why not have a city-sponsored lottery to bring those billions of dollars right here to help solve the pension crisis, said Dorothy Brown. Hey, buddy. I'm hoping that in addition to Paul Vallis, Gary Chico has ideas for the city that don't involve legalizing more drugs or expanding more gambling or coming up with new vices or current illegal activities to legalize for the purposes of revenue. But we'll find out because Gary Chico joins us now. Gary, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Sure. Good to be with you both.
So what about that first question as you reflect back on the last 7 years of Tiny Dancer's tenure and what could have been different had you won in 11? How do you answer that question, and how do you fast forward it to 2018?
Well, I think relations between City Hall and the communities would have been different, would have been a little better in the sense that my experience of having lived throughout the city, I think I have a feel for what makes these neighborhoods tick. We would have probably seen more development, more concentration on development in the neighborhoods. I think we would have had better relations with the police. I worked hard at that in my career. I'm ready to do that again. I mean, the relations between the police and the community are just not very good right now, and it's creating a whole lot of problems. And I think with regard to education, I think that our schools would have developed in all parts of the city with a more evenness of top quality programs. And we would have probably stemmed some of the flight that you're seeing taking place in Chicago, losing 10, 15,000 people a year. I mean, that's just my view of what could have been over the last 7 years. But, we're here now. We're here now. We have another opportunity to elect a mayor. I bring forth my experience again over many years of overseeing governments in Chicago, the city, the public schools, the park district, the city colleges, and even the State Board of Education, and my career as being a lawyer who owns a business. I think that what you do with that experience could help inform what you're likely to do if you're mayor. Remember now, Dan, we've got a whole list of people here running, and they're going to be talking about what they're going to do. And frankly, virtually none of them, except for Paul and me, have experience of having been at the helm of running the city, running the schools, running the parks, and running the community colleges. And I think that what that tells you is that what we say, we have some proof points in the past that we've done it, and therefore it's probably likely to happen. And that's going to be a big distinction in this race.
Well, you're a little late to the party. I mean, you jumped in after you found out that Mayor Emanuel was not going to seek re-election. Why didn't you, if you had this desire and passion to be mayor of Chicago, why didn't you, throw your hat in the ring while he was still going to run?
Well, I mean, you have desire and passion, but at the same time, we're Chicagoans first. We're not candidates. And I love this city. And when Rahm Emanuel asked me to help bring in corporate sponsors for CPS STEM programs, I did it immediately. And I was just raised in a way when you're working with somebody on a project, you don't turn around and stab them in the back. That's why I didn't run at that time.
All right. You mentioned CPS, your tenure there as the board president. And this is a question we put to Vallis as well. And frankly, it's staggering to me that it's not a bigger part of the conversation in the mayor's race. The sex abuse scandal in CPS that has been reported upon by the Tribune and hopefully will continue to be reported upon. They'll continue digging.
Yes.
What can you speak to that from your time there, and what should be done to address that prospectively?
Fortunately, when I was at the Board of Education, we never had the scandal of this proportion. I'm not going to tell you that we didn't have people doing bad acts that we had to deal with, but let's face it. We're now on notice that this problem was prevalent. It was being covered up at the school level. It was not being handled well downtown when those complaints got there, and it's got to change. And I think that Frank Clark and Janice Jackson have begun by putting together a very tough system to review these complaints. The Inspector General is now involved with the situation, and I trust that you're not going to see this kind of abuse going forward. And we also have to remember we have to be sensible about these things. We can't have a law department that's settling cases and at the same time investigating them. That just doesn't work. It's a conflict of interest. But I think the light is on the problem now, and we're not going to see the level of this problem again.
What is your proposal for the budget deficit? Like how are we going to become whole again? How are we going to stop spending money that we don't have?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is grow the tax base. We need to have more development in this city. I'm very pleased to see that we have 4 or 5 major developments proposed for the city, and that's going to be a big boon to us. Also, I am not going to simply hit the tax pedal. And the citizens of this city, the businesses of this city, have been hit very, very hard. So I've proposed, I know you guys won't like this, but these are ideas that are alternate ways of forming revenue. I proposed back in 2011 casino gaming because I still think Chicago can be a very good host of a top quality program. And I've also, look, marijuana is going to be legalized, whether you or I like it or not. It's coming. Michigan just approved it. The state of Illinois is going to approve it. Where is Chicago's piece of that? J.B. Pritzker says $700 million potential revenue. Where's Chicago's piece? I want the ability to impose a home roll tax on that activity so that we could maybe generate $150 million new dollars. When you come forward with ideas like that, whether it's casino gaming, whether it's a legalized pot, we're going to be in a better shape when we look at our taxpayers and we don't have to hit them as hard as we otherwise would have.
Hey, don't worry about me being opposed to a casino in Chicago. Worry about Ken Griffin being opposed to it. But I digress. Here's the thing. With respect to
Dan made it funny.
I'm a funny guy. With respect to that's talking a little bit about the revenue side, and I assume that's in lieu of going to the same well that Rahm went to, which is always increasing property taxes. Is that a fair assumption?
Sure. Property taxes and other fees, whether it's television, water. Look, people can only take so much, and that's on top of other taxes that are about to come at us from the state.
Right. And so what about on the spend side, the size of the city workforce, the median salaries and benefits packages? I mean, how do you get out from underneath the unfunded obligations that not even a casino could keep up with?
And it's not just a casino and legalized gambling. We'll be bringing forward other ideas, too, and some of them won't take place overnight. Some you'll have to work through the legislature for a while. But I think we do have an opportunity now, Dan, to work with the legislature to get Chicago a little more help. When I was the state school board chairman, we started the right to write Senate Bill 1, which is the bill that altered funding for public schools in Illinois. And what happened there is Chicago and a lot of other districts around the state wound up getting lots of new money. In the case of Chicago, hundreds of millions of new dollars because we had such a large population of poverty and children with disabilities. I think you have to look to Springfield to forge new relations. You got to look at some of these alternative revenue sources, and make no mistake, cutting back on the size of government, doing things differently with technology and other efficiencies has got to be part of the program. That can't be left out. You just can't go year to year to year with the exact same size of government. And by the way, I should tell you, when I was chief of staff in Chicago in the 90s, and when you look at today, the personnel headcount of the city has gone down from about 44,000 into the mid-30s. Same thing with CPS. Why is that? Costs of running government, largely led by pensions, are not allowing you to have the same kind of money to hire the people that you need to perform the services.
That's right.
So we're being forced to come up with new ways to do business to serve the citizens.
Now, you mentioned being chief of staff to Rich Daley. Why not fall in line with Bill Daley?
Well, I think Bill's a nice guy, but I don't think he's had the experience that I've had locally here over this many years. I mean, he chose to go to Washington, and that's fine. We respect that service. But it's not the same thing as hiring police, deploying police, working on community policing, building schools, making better school programs, building parks, overseeing swimming and athletic programs, and even overseeing the Chicago City colleges. Those are the things that the citizens of this city look for every day, work with every day, and I believe as mayor, my experience in the past will lead to a brighter future. You know, I'm an optimist. I believe our best days are ahead of us, and with the right leadership, we can realize that.
Now, I want to have you develop the police piece a little bit, because you mentioned that a couple of times. Obviously, it is a overriding issue with the endemic violence on the south and west sides of the city in particular, but not limited to those neighborhoods. And so the one or two things you're going to do to restore the balance, number one, between City Hall and the police department, but number two, this feeling among rank-and-file police officers that the civilian political authorities have their back, which they clearly don't feel is the case now.
Well, look, I have the back of the police because we need them. We saw what happened tragically yesterday with Officer Jimenez being killed. I mean, look, can you imagine if the Chicago police were not on the scene immediately, what this gunman might have done walking through that hospital? I mean, we owe these people a debt of gratitude. On the other hand, there's always some bad apples in a large population, and we've seen that too. We have to bring balance back to respect for the police and the police having respect for the community. When I was in the mayor's office in the early 90s, we instituted community policing, which forced dialogue at the beat level between the police officers and the community. That has kind of slipped. It's got to come back powerfully. But at the same time, a lot of these communities haven't been touched in 50 years. Take the west side of Chicago. After the west side of Chicago burned with the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, we haven't built anything there in 50, 60 years. It's unacceptable. We have to go back and build communities, so we force these gangs out of there. When we don't have activity in neighborhoods, gangs come in, the drug sales take place, the guns come in because you got to protect your turf, and they start to recruit our kids. You start to build neighborhoods, and you bring in some activities, whether it's business, schools, parks, like we've done before. We'll crowd these guys right out of here, and they won't have the chance to get the foothold that they have. And when you have that, when you have economic activity that's positive, you don't have all these elements of crime, poverty, and despair.
Now, let me, I want to ask you this question about this piece that Jeff Carter, who's one of the co-founders of the Hyde Park Angels, venture capital play there, wrote in his blog last week. We talked about it in this show. I talked about City Club yesterday, too. The point of why we lost HQ2 and why the city has problems that other big cities don't have. He talked about this closed network. Look at who was tasked with putting together the proposal to bring HQ2 to Chicago. It's the same 600 people. Chicago is a closed network, whether it's our politics, whether it's venture capital, whether it's education reform, this closed network of the same people who are all interconnected. And guess what? The problem with closed networks is they crowd out innovation. They're not receptive to new ideas or new people, so they can't change. And to be fair, you're part of that inside network. So how do you, if you believe that premise, open up this closed network that really afflicts the city and the state?
Well, the change is going to come from somebody who's in the network who realizes what you just said. The real power comes from a lot of different ideas from a lot of different sources, which is why last Friday evening I sat with about 15 African-American business owners on the south side of Chicago to get their ideas about what we need to drive this city forward. It's the same thing that I learned when I spent an entire afternoon with the Muslim community in different parts of the city, wanting to hear what they could bring to the conversation. Look, we have to realize that the best ideas and the best thinking come from larger groups, not smaller groups. You won't see my administration talking to 10 people and that's it. I don't think that's smart business, and I don't think it's our path forward.
He is Gary Chico. He's a candidate for mayor of Chicago. Gary, the website for people who want to get more information on your candidacy.
ChicoForMayor.com, and I want to wish you and Amy and all your listeners a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Did you know that studies have shown that we need over 10 servings of fruits and veggies every single day? If you're like me, it's hard to find the time and money to prepare and eat all of those fruits and vegetables. Who can do that? Yet we know that proper nutrition can prevent health problems, give us energy, and help us heal faster. Balance of Nature has spent over 20 years researching and delivering solutions to this problem. We can ensure that you consume over 30 different fruits and veggies every single day. Our capsules are filled with 100% real whole foods. There isn't a single thing added to Balance of Nature products. They're pure. We spent an incredible amount of time on the quality of our products. We do this for you. We do it for our own families. Give yourself a break and give your body what it needs.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, if you're interested in securing a reverse mortgage loan to purchase a new home, then you need to call the reverse mortgage loan experts at Team Hochberg. Today, meet the Smiths, who had a reverse mortgage loan on the house they sold, so they naturally inquired about securing a reverse mortgage loan on their new house. The Smiths could have easily bought their new house with cash, but secured a reverse mortgage loan because they decided it was in their financial best interest to have the cash in the bank instead of not having a mortgage. In addition to investing the money, the Smiths won't have a mandatory mortgage payment and will defer their mortgage payment. So if you're at least 61 and a half and would like to learn how you can purchase a home with a reverse mortgage loan, call the reverse mortgage loan experts at Team Hochberg. Call them now, 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pro Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
Warning, sharks sighted in water.
There are a lot of warnings you could miss on your own, especially when it comes to your identity and devices. Good thing new LifeLock includes Norton Security for more detection and more protection. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock looks out for threats to your identity, and Norton protects against online threats. Join now and get 10% off your first year plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Just go to lifelock.com and enter promo code SMART. Terms apply.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke, and I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days, and 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. You know, if I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now, I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk a little acting AG Matt Whitaker and the Mueller investigation with senior legal fellow for the Heritage Foundation, Hans von Spakovsky, at 7:37.
And just in time for the holidays, after-birth tacos. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Gray skies and 30 degrees at 7:30. Chicago police officer, a doctor, a pharmacy resident among the 4 killed following a shooting at Mercy Hospital yesterday. The gunman, identified as Juan Lopez. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel asked residents of the city and suburbs to remember the families impacted as they celebrate this week.
Remember what is important in life. And that there are others who are part of our larger family who will have a tear and a hole that will never really heal, but will always have a scar.
Officer Jimenez was on the Chicago police force for less than 2 years. The 28-year-old leaves behind a wife and 3 small children. Firefighters in Northern California battling the deadly Camp Fire will get a little help from Mother Nature, as rain is in the forecast. While the rain could help bring the massive fire in Butte County under control, it could also make it more difficult to locate victims. Judge in San Francisco is ruling that migrants who entered the U.S. illegally from Mexico can still try and request asylum. U.S. District Judge yesterday issued a temporary restraining order barring the Trump administration from enacting new rules refusing asylum claims from people crossing the southern border illegally. At least 3,000 salaried workers at General Motors are likely to be laid off in North America, as fewer of them took the automaker up on a buyout offer than hoped. GM officials offered voluntary buyouts to 18,000. The goal, 7,000. taking that early buyout by yesterday afternoon. In other news we're following this morning, investigators are trying to figure out what caused a massive fire that tore through a barn in Warrenville. The blaze broke out yesterday at the Galusha farm. Illinois' largest group of school board members is voting against arming teachers for now. The Illinois Association of School Boards voted over the weekend to formally oppose plans at the State House to allow teachers to carry guns. The board released a statement that said while many rural and small districts in the state support the idea, a few schools in Chicago, the suburbs, and some larger communities around the state are against that proposal. President Trump will uphold a long-standing tradition when he pardons a Thanksgiving turkey or two at the White House today. The two turkeys, named Peas and Carrots, have been chosen. One will be selected for pardoning. Both will be allowed to retire at the Gobbler's Rest exhibit at Virginia Tech. By the way, Harry Truman mythmakers like to say the pardoning of turkeys began with his administration. It did not. The whole ceremony was codified under George H.W. Bush in 1989. First place Bears are on a short week of practice. They take on the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. We'll see where Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky is, either under center or maybe on the sidelines, as he's dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder. College hoops last night, Loyola topped Richmond 82-66. Number 3 Gonzaga held on to beat the Fighting Illini. Good contest, 84-78 in Maui. Monday night football, Rams over the Chiefs, 54-51. The news service of Unbound.org. Right now there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says the angry mob has nothing to be angry about.
They won. The angry mob of the left won. So it's hard to have an angry mob anymore. The anger has dissipated somewhat. This is also something that will be interesting to witness.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Picture yourself unemployed for 20, maybe even 30 years. That's what retirement can look like, 20 or 30 years with no paycheck. If that's not fourth and long, consider this. Over 2,000 rules govern Social Security, and there are hundreds of ways to file for it. It's not surprising so many Americans may be getting less Social Security than they've earned. Will you get the most out of your Social Security benefits? Call Jack Tabota at Tabota & Associates. Jack and his team will use time-tested methods to help you maximize your Social Security benefit. Find out your options. Call Jack Tabota at Tabota & Associates. Get the Social Security benefit you've earned. 630-883-4577. That's 630-883-4577. Jack Tabota at Tabota & Associates. 630-883-4577. Tabota & Associates is an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of investment and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane. Ground Game is a weekly political conversation with AP reporters and guests. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:36, and a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Reagan Tollway westbound, Veterans Memorial. There's a crash reported. Traffic is lighter than usual on most of the tollways. It is heavy on the northbound Tri-State, 75th, 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Aiden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 24. Kennedy, 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 19 in the Express. Outbound 34 to the airport, got Eisenhower. 40 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 35. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 37. Bryan, 27 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 429. It's heavy on 8094 westbound, I-65 to Grant, and northbound I-65, 61st Avenue to 8094. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cold day ahead. We'll have clouds and sun mixed and a high of 34, currently 29. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Adam Schiff, that's 2 F's.
Yeah, I heard
Schiff.
what President Trump referred to him as. Over
He's
the
a noted conspiracy theorist, and he's going to be the House Intelligence Committee chairman, taking over for Devin Nunes because Democrats won the House. Devin Nunes sat down with Maria Bartiromo over the weekend on Sunday. Talk a little bit about what the House Intelligence Committee accomplished while he chaired it as it pertains to investigations into Russian collusion. We got our work done, and there are 4 buckets of documents that need the president's declassification, and that he hopes they get it. Here's Devin Nunes on what the American people now know, thanks to the House Intel Committee's work under his leadership.
The American people now know that the Trump campaign was unmasking American citizens. They know that many of the Trump campaign people were targeted. They know that they used a dossier that was paid for by the Clinton campaign to go after and use it in a FISA warrant against the campaign. So we're really proud of what we've done. We want the American people to see these 4 buckets of information that need to be declassified, and if the president would do that, it would, I think, give some finality to our investigation.
Now, he misspoke at the outset when he said Trump campaign unmasking individuals. He's talking about the Obama administration unmasking Trump campaign officials, like General Flynn. That's what he was talking about. So the 4 buckets of material for classification, Bartiromo and Nunes go through them.
The last FISA renewal, which was signed by Rod Rosenstein, you want to see Bruce Orr reports, which are the emails that you want to see from Bruce Orr and his wife and others, and you want to see the exculpatory evidence that was not presented to the FISA court. In other words, evidence that would say there was no collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians, but that actually wasn't presented to the FISA court. What is this 4th bucket, and am I right about the first 3?
Yeah, so the first 3, you're right on. We've been calling for those for many months. The president actually directed them to be done. And then you had Rod Rosenstein, who convened a meeting to stop that and get that kicked to the IG. But that's not a workable solution. We have let the White House know that. That's not going to work. That will just bury this, and none of it will ever be declassified. The new 4th bucket that we're asking actually to be declassified now is for months. We have been reviewing emails between FBI and DOJ and others that clearly show that they knew about information that should have been presented to the FISA court. So it is real evidence that people within the FBI withheld evidence from the FISA court. Now, these are classified, and they need to be declassified.
Yeah, I'd like to see all of that information declassified to the extent possible with the consideration for national security. And here's what I'd also like to see. The same thing Nunes wants to see upon Adam Schiff assuming the chairmanship of the House Intel Committee.
The Democrats on the committee and all through Congress have been saying that they have more than circumstantial evidence that the Trump campaign colluded with Russians. More than. So at the first open hearing that we're going to have, I'm looking forward to them finally releasing this information because we know that the only thing that hasn't leaked is this information about the Trump campaign colluding with Russians. So they've promised it. They now have the majority. So finally, maybe now they'll present their evidence.
How about it? How about finally presenting evidence to back up 18 months worth of fact-free rhetoric, at least evidence-free rhetoric? Now's your chance, Adam Schiff. We should be looking forward to him assuming the chairmanship. And for more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow for the Heritage Foundation. He's also a former FEC Commissioner and lawyer at the Department of Justice. Hans, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Good. Hi. Thanks for being with us. With respect to what Nunes had to say about those buckets of information that should be declassified and the forthcoming moment of truth for Adam Schiff, how do you react?
Oh, I totally agree that it does need to be declassified because I think people have lost sight of how potentially dangerous what may have happened is. The unmasking, which has been largely forgotten by the media. Look, our intelligence agencies, it's very important that they can do things like, eavesdrop on overseas conversations where terrorists, may be calling their contacts in the U.S. But the law on this is very carefully structured to prevent intelligence agencies from being able to listen in on our phone calls. Citizens, you can't do that without getting a search warrant, and a search warrant means that you're suspected of criminal activity. And yet what was the White House under Obama doing? They were unmasking that information for political purposes. Unmasking it to go after the Trump campaign. That is the worst abuse of our intelligence agencies' capabilities that may have ever occurred in our history, and everybody just kind of ignores that. And that's just one of the problems that's been uncovered so far.
Well, who called for the unmasking? Who's responsible? Who's the ringleader?
Well, we know that the former UN ambassador to the UN from the Obama administration. We know that Susan Rice and others called for the unmasking, and that's the kind of thing that if it happened, that is so abusive that they should be prosecuted for it. And then the second issue that is really important is the FISA law. Look, again, that's a very important law. It's our Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. We set up a secret court so that if we determine espionage is going on inside the United States or terrorism, they can get secretly from this court, electronic surveillance warrants. And yet here we have a case of this being used for the first time in history against a presidential campaign, the opposition campaign from the White House. And what do we find out? They didn't actually have any verified, credible information indicating wrongdoing. In fact, it was political opposition research that was used to justify the warrant. That, again, that is an unbelievable abuse of that law. And if it happened, again, things need to be done about that, and the people involved need to be punished.
Well, so if Nunes is right that Schiff has nothing, just as he's had nothing all this time, then how do the Democrats paper over that they have nothing to extend the, cloak and dagger intrigue that they want to envelop the White House regarding Russian collusion?
Well, I think they're just going to ignore that because, look, you all and I know that they don't have anything. If they had anything, it would have been uncovered by Bob Mueller. That's what he's been investigating for more than a year and a half. And we would by now have had indictments over that. Instead, to date, Bob Mueller hasn't turned up a single piece of evidence of any kind of collusion. So, Schiff just has been making this up because he knows nobody would call him on it in the media.
And so the play is just going to be to extend this through 2020 and just try and keep the cloud over. We're working on it. We're gonna add a couple of more charges to Paul Manafort's list of bill of particulars and so on and so forth. But I mean, essentially, just continue in the majority, the same posture they took in the minority. Oh
yeah, and I think they're going to try to make sure that things get blocked that would actually reveal that nothing actually happened, and they will probably fight to make sure that there is no declassification, so that we can't actually see all of the rest of the FISA warrants. I just I don't trust them to do anything other than to try to cover up the fact that there's really no evidence that the Trump campaign was engaging in any wrongdoing of any kind, particularly when it comes to supposed collusion with the Russian government.
And one misdirection play that they're employing right now is the acting Attorney General, Matt Whitaker.
Should he recuse himself?
Trying to undermine his legitimacy.
Yeah, and what people need to understand is that the president acted fully within federal law. There's actually a federal statute. It's called the Federal Vacancies Reform Act, which gives the power to the president to make this kind of temporary appointment. And these kind of temporary appointments have been made since George Washington was president, including, by the way, Barack Obama, who made several temporary appointments like this into Senate-confirmed jobs. And I don't seem to recall anybody complaining about that when Obama did it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, I know he's acting Attorney General, do you think he will become the Attorney General, Whitaker, or who do you, or maybe Chris Christie? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't have any inside scoop on who the president is considering. There's all kinds of names floating around. The key thing to remember is that under that federal statute that I just mentioned, Whitaker can only be the acting Attorney General for 210 days, about 7 months. It's a temporary appointment only, and the statute only allows him to do it for that period of time.
I wanted to get your take on this other latest tack that we're getting from the left. Paul Krugman wrote about it in the New York Times a couple weeks ago, and some egghead from NYU Law School has picked it up in the Wall Street Journal today. The idea that, we won the House, and that's great, but we didn't win the Senate, and that's a problem. And the problem is the structure of the Senate. And it's unfair that 600,000 people in Wyoming should get 2 U.S. senators, and 40 million people in California should also only get 2 U.S. senators. That disparity in population needs to be reflected in the Senate. That institution is no longer legitimate, and so Krugman doesn't provide a specific proposal, but this NYU law professor does. He suggests, for example, a trigger at 20-1, the sixth in terms of population disparity, and the 6 states exceeding 12 million people: California, Texas, New York, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Illinois, with about 40% of America's population, could split, yielding 12 new senators. That would dramatically reduce the Senate's structural inequality, for example. What do you think about this latest assault on the Senate by the left?
That's not just an assault on the Senate. It's an assault on our Constitution and the fundamental structure that the framers put together. The whole purpose of the Senate was to put balance into the government so that large population centers would not basically dominate the federal legislature, and the small states would be left out and would have no say. And that's what these liberals want. Is they want the big population areas, which tend to be pretty liberal, to be able to control the federal government and leave the rest of the country, the rural areas, the West, all the areas, by the way, that voted for Trump. They want them and their political power to be as weak as possible. That's what this is about.
Well, that's right. Yeah, they, in the interests of fairness, they want to dominate. That's the play. But it's interesting that Krugman opens the seal, and now you've got another professor opining in. So they're clearly going to start beating this drum more and more, at least on op-ed pages, if not having some, one of the loose cannons in the Democrat caucuses in the House or Senate pick it up as well.
Well, the rest of the country would never agree to this, which would require constitutional amendments, and that isn't going to happen.
He is Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow for the Heritage Foundation, former FEC Commissioner and attorney at the DOJ. Hans, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure, thanks for having me, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can
Call Crumweedy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy,
Call Crumweedy.
That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, fall is here, and so are those weekend cleanup projects. Hey, Sean Hannity here to tell you that getting organized is simple and easy with Store Lock Modular Systems, the best tool cabinet you'll ever buy. They're durable, store-lock modular systems. They're built the old-fashioned way, made to order, exactly how you want it, and they're 100% crafted in the USA. And these storage systems have dividers, liners, layouts. All are made with quality materials, including steel ball bearings and heat-treated steel rollers. Store Lock is so strong that each drawer holds up to 400 pounds. Your custom system is powder-coated in-house in any color that you want, plus it's fully assembled when it ships, so you can get organized really fast. Store Lock fits any home or business, will last a lifetime with its 55-year top-to-bottom warranty. All you have to do is order today and receive your system in about 4 weeks. Call now at 1-800-STOR-LOC. That's Store Lock, 1-800-STORE-LOCK. And check out storelock.com for upcoming events.
It's so nice now that the kids are asleep.
Cheers.
We got the kids, our house, a stable income.
Checking off all the boxes.
But there's one box we haven't checked off.
Well, what's that?
Life insurance.
We don't need to think about that now. We're young.
That's why now is the best time. Life insurance gets more expensive the older you get.
But I don't have time to do a blood test. It's such a hassle to meet with someone just to get a quote.
Not with Ethos.
Ethos?
It's a modern kind of life insurance. You just answer 4 quick questions at getethos.com and get a free instant quote. No pushy salespeople. And no medical exams required for policies covering under $1 million. You can apply online in just 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Let's do it.
But then what will we do for the rest of the night?
I'm sure we can think of something.
Get your free instant quote and submit your complete application in minutes. Just go to getethos.com. That's ETHOS. Getethos.com. Getethos.com.
Dashing through the snow to CVS we go. A $10 cash card for beauty brands and bows. Lights to dress the tree and stocking gifts galore. Candy cards and photo gifts and deals throughout the store. At CVS Pharmacy, we've got all the little things you need this holiday. Like a $10 CVS cash card. Yours when you spend $30 on select items like holiday decor going on this week. Plus M&Ms are BOGO free. Dash to CVS Pharmacy today. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
You got me that bracelet from Hellsberg? I can't believe you did this.
I also got a Nintendo Switch. It came with your bracelet, like, free.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell you because I was going to buy the bracelet anyway, but it's really cool and I love it. There, I said it.
That's awesome.
There's 2 controllers.
Even better. Get gifts that get gifts at Hellsberg Diamonds, like a free Nintendo Switch system when you spend $1,199 or more. Hellsberg Diamonds, a Berkshire Hathaway company. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in-store for details. Games sold separately.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Dan, it's happened again, this time in Aurora, nearby. Sunday night, this woman, 59-year-old Nelita Mendoza, was watching TV with what police are calling her housemate.
Okay.
And they were arguing over what they were going to watch on TV, and she got mad. And so what's she gonna do? She bit his ear off. She bit his right ear completely off. Now, we don't know.
That's the same thing. That's the same way it started with Tyson and Holyfield.
Exactly. We don't know. So the man, after the attack, went to the local hospital. We don't know if she swallowed the ear, because remember that horrific woman who bit off her neighbor's ear and swallowed it? Remember, it was in Texas. They got in a fight over some drink being made at an after party from the bars, and she bit her neighbor's ear off and swallowed it. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was gross. Well, this time we don't know.
People go for the ears.
I know. I don't know what that's about. If they're just like that.
I figure if you do that, you can like grab on. It's tough to get them off with the ear intact.
Well, he's been treated. The victim went to a local hospital for treatment. She's been charged with domestic battery.
Yeah, with all kinds of obvious charges.
In the King County jail.
Right.
So once she gets out of jail, that's somebody else that you need to stay away from, if you know what I mean.
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for the heads up on that one.
Stay away from her, all right?
Talk about my City Club appearance yesterday, talking about the future of the Illinois Republican Party to the extent there is one at 8:08.
And the dynasty grows at Blaine Elementary when it comes to volleyball. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Saw some good pictures of that City Club event yesterday. Elderly woman hit and killed by a vehicle on the southwest side. The latest details on that story and our developing story. 4 dead in a Chicago hospital shooting. The latest from Fox in a moment. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Well, it's happened yet again. Another of President Trump's orders blocked in court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This one was his way to block migrants in that Central American caravan from crossing the border illegally anywhere and seeking asylum. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
In a ruling late Monday, a federal judge from the U.S. District Court in San Francisco issued a temporary nationwide restraining order barring enforcement of the president's new asylum policy. Judge John Teager ruled that the president may not rewrite the immigration laws to impose a condition that Congress has expressly forbidden. He went on to write the failure to comply with entry requirements, such as arriving at a designated port of entry, should bear little, if any, weight in the asylum process. The judge's order remains in effect until December 19th, at which point the court will consider arguments for a permanent injunction. No reaction yet from the White House. Dave?
John, Homeland Security claims more than 500 criminals are among the migrants in the caravan. Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen will go to the border in San Diego, where yesterday some lanes at a port of entry were shut down for hours to put more blockages up to stop illegal crossings. In Chicago, they're mourning 3 murdered at a hospital by a gunman who first killed an ER doctor who was his ex-fiancée. Then a police officer and a pharmaceutical assistant shot walking off an elevator.
All going about their day, all doing what they love.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel called it evil. The gunman's also dead. It's not clear if he shot himself. In Missouri, police keep looking for a killer who went into a Catholic supply store outside St. Louis and shot a woman in the head and sexually assaulted another. Denver police are looking for whoever shot and killed a man and wounded 4 others. They'll be out searching again in wildfire-scorched Northern California for 700 people still unaccounted for. At least 79 others were killed. Nearly 12,000 homes burned.
I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't think it was going to be this bad.
There's nothing left of his house in Paradise.
The only thing sticking up is the melted refrigerator.
This is Fox News.
Partly sunny skies in Chicago, 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott, Chicago police officer, a doctor and pharmacy resident. Among the 4 dead following a shooting at Mercy Hospital yesterday on Chicago's near South Side. The gunman identified this morning as Juan Lopez, shot and killed emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill, with whom he had a domestic dispute. He then exchanged gunfire with police before dashing into the hospital and gunning down a pharmacy resident, Dana Less, and then Chicago police officer Samuel Jimenez. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel talked with reporters yesterday and says this shooting will leave a very permanent scar over the holidays.
What is important in life and that there are others who are part of our larger family who will have a tear and a hole that will never really heal, but will always have a scar.
In other news this morning, a student at Oak Lawn High School is accused of threatening to bring a gun to school on social media. Police say they were made aware of the threat posted on Snapchat. The 15-year-old charged yesterday as a juvenile with making a threat of violence or death directed at persons at that school. An elderly woman is dead after she was struck by a vehicle on Chicago's southwest side. The victim crossing a street last night in the 7400 block of South Cicero. The driver was cited. Charges are pending against a suspect who was shot after stabbing a sheriff's deputy on the south side. Deputies responded last night to the corner of 41st and Michigan to arrest Jovian Brewer, who had not checked in with the sheriff's office electronic monitoring program since November 7. Brewer then stabbed one of the deputies in the head before another deputy shot and tasered him. Bears on a short week of practice ahead of a Thanksgiving Day clash with the Lions. Bear quarterback Mitchell Trubisky is dealing with an injury to his right throwing shoulder. College hoops, Loyola topped Richmond last night. Number 3 Gonzaga had to hang on by their fingernails to beat Illinois in the Maui Invite, 84-78. Losses for Chicago State and Illinois State. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, futures are pointing to a weaker open on Wall Street. Both Target and Lowe's reported improved sales for the recent quarter, but Wall Street was expecting even stronger numbers. Hormel Foods also is reporting mixed business. However, Best Buy's earnings and sales were stronger than expected. Manufacturers of U.S.-made products want the government to crack down on companies that claim products are made here, even when they're not. The Wall Street Journal says the Alliance for American Manufacturing wants the Federal Trade Commission to require companies to pay a fine or at least admit fault for wrongly labeled products. The FTC ruled against 3 companies in September. All were ordered to stop marketing the products, but none was fined. The Dow dropped 395 yesterday, NASDAQ down 219, S&P lost 45. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
One thing became painfully apparent this past election cycle. There are forces out there trying to destroy the America we know. And guess what? Those forces are still there. The election didn't change that. All this election did was restart the clock. In 2 years, we'll have to stand up and do it all again. Are we going to let the forces of darkness take back this country? Or are we going to stand up and fight for what's right? Stick with this station to get your marching orders. AM 560, The Answer.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Stephanie, account manager, contacted her credit union to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. Bad move. The credit union's alleged mortgage expert informed Stephanie she couldn't purchase a home without a cosigner. Wrong. Stephanie's grandfather would cosign, but she wanted to do it herself. After hearing hundreds of our ads, Stephanie called for a free consultation. An experienced Team Hochberg mortgage professional answered Stephanie's questions and helped her secure a mortgage without a cosigner. Let's review. The inexperienced mortgage professional at Stephanie's credit union stated she needed a cosigner to purchase a home, and Team Hochberg secured her a mortgage without a cosigner. When securing a mortgage, you could either get terrible advice at your credit union, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
It's the holiday sales event at Ford. It's a big deal, and we're busy making preparations to get you the best deals of the year. Because unlike Santa's presents, ours don't just magically appear. At Ford, ours are built in real factories, where pickup trucks come with best-in-class towing and payload, where SUVs are built with available features like terrain management and driver assist technologies, and where every bolt, stitch, and line of code is tested and tested again. But you don't have to write Santa a letter to get these presents. Naughty or nice, just come see your Ford dealer during our holiday sales event for our best offers of the year. Ford, built for the holidays. Built Ford proud.
Best-in-class towing and payload when properly configured. Class is light-duty pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
It's 8:08. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
The eastbound Reagan-Tillway has slow traffic this morning in pockets between Winfield Road and 53. Northbound Tri-State at Stop and Go from the 83rd Street toll to 31st, and from the Reagan-Tillway to North Avenue. Aiden's runs 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Kennedy, 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 28 from Montrose, 19 on the Express. Outbound 34 minutes to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, now an hour, 390 to downtown. 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 35 to 390. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 42 minutes, 95th to downtown. 8094 is heavy eastbound Grant Broadway, westbound Ripley to Central. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Here's our meteorologist, Brian May.
Cold today with clouds and sun, high 34. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 28. Chilly tomorrow with clouds and sun, high 36. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low 26. Thursday, clouds and sun, high Thanksgiving Day, 38. I'm Brian May on AM 560, The Answer.
29 O'Hare, partly sunny skies. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by AM Woodland Outdoor Design, luxury outdoor living. amwoodland.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so yesterday I participated in the City Club panel about the future of the Illinois Republican Party. What is it? Is there one? So I'll put the same question to our friends and listening audience, because clearly the people in charge of the party and others, myself included, haven't figured out the answer. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. The future of the Illinois Republican Party, if there is to be one, what does that look like?
And I saw you on a panel with Kristen McQuarrie and Pat Brady.
Right, McQuarrie from the Tribune, of course, former state party chairman, Pat Brady, who now is a lobbyist and a flack for the establishment. And here's how, I just think part of understanding where you go is understanding how you got to your present predicament, so you don't just keep driving in circles. And so I just started yesterday saying, let me summarize the last 25 years of the Illinois Republican Party in 2 sentences. Former Governor Jim Edgar was J.B. Pritzker's debate prep partner, and his Lieutenant Governor, Bob Custra, endorsed Sean Casten for Congress. That's all you need to know about the last 25 years because it tells you that's who Jim Edgar and Bob Custra always were. That's what the Republican Party has always been.
What, Democrats in disguise?
It's sort of, yeah. I mean, that's a part of it. And it's I go back to that Jeff Carter piece at pointsandfigures.com about the closed network. They're just happy to occupy that little corner in the rarefied air of the closed network. They don't want to lose their spot inside the network, so they're willing to do the bidding of the network. And that's the same people doing the same thing for stability's purposes. John Cass made this point when he filled in for you last week. One of the differences between the Indiana Republican Party and the Illinois Republican Party is the business community in the Indiana supports the Republican Party. That's not the case here.
No.
That's what Republicans like to delude themselves into believing, but it's not the case here. The network is happy to support what Cass termed the combine, which is another way of saying the network.
Well, how many Republican state representatives are left?
44 in the House, 19 in the Senate. So 74-44 and 40-19. This was sort of the fun part. I mean, yesterday, the fewest number of Republican legislators since forever, because you have to go back to when it was Democrats versus Whigs in the 1830s to find Democrats occupying more seats in the Illinois General Assembly. And yet you have Brady and Durkin who've been there for 20 years each, 40 years. And Pat Brady is talking about me. And I'm like, well, you haven't flipped seats. Well, actually, we've been part of, my little group has been part of campaigns that actually have flipped seats. But it's not even the truth of that statement, or the lie of that statement is not even what's interesting. What's interesting is you're talking about me. You got 2 guys who've been there for 40 years. You just lost 7-3 and got wiped out at the local level in the Suburban Cook and the Collars, not to mention getting blown out in the governor's race. Everything I said would happen, happened. Everything Pat Brady said would happen this cycle did not happen. But you still want to talk about me because it's about scapegoating. Because it's about we are pathologically incapable of accepting accountability. So here's what we do after a bloodbath like that. We come forward. We disguise our surrender with happy talk about unity. And then as soon as that public pronouncement of unity or call for unity has been made, then we go back to doing the same thing we've been doing. And that's the cycle that just repeats itself over and over and over again, which is how you find yourself in this place in 2018. Here's another telling statement. We were talking about the Chicago mayor's race. And I said, as I said 6 months ago in our first debate on the topic after the primary, it's a failure of the Republican Party in the rare open seat for mayor of Chicago with a crowded field like the Democrats have to not put up a credible center-right candidate who maybe could make the runoff and probably lose the runoff, or maybe not make the runoff, but at least establish a beachhead in Chicago, signal to the population that the Republican Party exists, that there are credible people who are Republicans and they have some interesting ideas, and maybe you should listen to them because the same people who've been in charge for 100 years, how's that working out for you in the city? Brady said he agrees sort of. What we could do is take our 10, 13, 15% of the vote, and we can have an impact on the race by trying to direct it somewhere to one of the Democrats.
Oh.
Why? It's always about being servile to the established Chicago Democrat crime family power structure. So what that really means is, because what's in it for the 10 to 15% of Republicans in the city to say, to go wherever, Pat Brady says they should go with whatever candidate well, what's in it for them? Nothing. What's in it for Pat Brady? Something. And other people who would marshal Republicans and say, vote for Gary Chico or vote for Paul Vallis or vote for whoever. Well, we delivered this vote for you, so now we have a seat at the table. But we don't have a seat at the table. One of those handful of Republicans inside the network gets something out of it. But we don't. You think Chicago Republican voters are going to get something out of that? They're going to have a seat at the table with somebody inside the network representing their interests the same way their interests have been represented since I've been on this planet? It's such a telling statement. And that's fine. That's who they are. And people should be honest about who they are. So that's, to me, is one of the clearest moments of the choice before people that was presented yesterday is I wanted, and I think we should have, a candidate for mayor. Pat Brady wants to, and he's not the only one, marshal Republican voters to a particular Democrat candidate so he can have a seat at the table. Big difference. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Dan in McHenry.
How you guys doing this morning?
Good.
So, I guess I had 2 points I wanted to make. The first one is, I saw what happened here in Illinois with our house with this last tax increase that got pushed through. And if I'm not mistaken, there was quite a few Republican turncoats in that room that voted for that, or that pushed that alongside
this
Democrats.
This is the funny thing, too. 15 House Republicans voted for the tax increase. 11 of them are gone, largely thanks to pressure from groups that I'm affiliated with, in addition to primary challenges that we supported against those incumbents. Meanwhile, what did Jim Durkin and the establishment do? They supported the incumbents who voted for voted for the Madigan tax hike, who were being challenged by conservative reformers supported by my PAC, for example. So again, tell me what the difference is. Tell me how serious you are about lines in the sand, about any internal accountability in the party when you have a third of your caucus go south on you. Your only response is to continue writing checks to those people if they face a challenge. If there's no accountability for being there's no qualification other than being an incumbent, then you're saying incumbents can do anything they want, which of course has been the case for a long time because this is sort of a show. I think there's so much play acting, Harlem Globetrotters and Washington General style. And they know what the outcome is. They're not really competing. They're sort of playing a role to entertain you while they, inside the network, split up the spoils of war.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that there's not really, when you have that kind of politics going on, you don't really have an Illinois Republican Party as such. You have something else that's not anything that nobody can get behind. And that's what's happened in the state. That's what happened nationally a few years ago.
Thanks for the call, Dan. And by the way, there are other examples of this, too. Orange County, California,
gosh.
swept
what
away.
In the world? My friend lives there. She's a huge Republican. They're friends with Andrew Breitbart. She's shocked at what happened.
But this is the thing. It's,
how could they?
It's Jim. It's Jim, and the sun also rises when he's asked how he went bankrupt. Gradually, then suddenly. It's been happening for a long time, and then the bottom drops out.
The bottom dropped out.
Orange County, right? They're gone. First time in forever that Orange County is blue. Lost all their congressmen. Even and Young Kim ended up losing too. That Korean American woman, unfortunately. You look at that and they say, well, what happened? So I'm talking to an academic out in the West Coast, and he said, look, we got no party infrastructure. We have no party here. The Republican Party doesn't exist. And so what the legislative leaders in the state assembly were trying to do is hold off Democrats taking over the supermajority. Well, that works for one or two cycles maybe, but if that's all you're trying to accomplish, then ultimately the wave is going to come for you. And it came for California Republicans the same way it's come for Illinois Republicans again. No local infrastructure, no value proposition, no raison d'etre, no reason for existing other than to keep the people in office as long as they can stay in office until Madigan comes for them. Well, that's not a particularly compelling rallying point for me and for most people. And the amazing thing is, we're talking about this like it's not an obvious statement. What is the market feedback you're getting when you are down to a footprint that can only be detected by an electron microscope? But I will tell you what you're going to get from the Republican Party currently constituted. Mott's. More of the same. Vic on the north side.
Yeah, I'm listening to your conversation. I couldn't agree more with you. A major point I want to make is that when Ronald Reagan was the president, I was a proud member of the RNC for 8 years. And what did they do as a party? They did party. That's all. And they didn't take it seriously, what we had here. They didn't reach out for the youth group, the young people that could learn what the Republicans stand for. That was their prime choice to do. And I got a call just last week from the RNC. I'm still on their list, I guess, as the next member. And I says, no, they want me to send you money? You don't need money. You need strict strategy. Let's get this thing on the road. The minor point I want to make was how weak we were as Republicans during the Epton, Washington mayor race. I was involved in that too. And we had several candidates that were interested, but they were kind of like giving a cold shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for the call, Vic, again, right? Nobody sent. And it permeates every aspect of existence in this city and state. And it's innovation stunting. It is anti-growth in every way. Greg in Frankfurt.
Thanks for taking my call, Dan. I was at your presentation yesterday, and as per usual, it was a fabulous articulation of what we're faced with here. And I think the most relevant point that you brought forth is that there's no vision. There's no vision in the party. I also find it interesting that Brady, I've seen you in the past debate him, he's continues to peddle the same thing over and over and over again. Of particular interest that he found necessary to pat himself on the back multiple times about the successes he had in 2010, but what he neglected to tell everybody, what he neglected to comment on as it relates to that is that that was a red wave thanks to the revolt against Obamacare, and you could have been a chimpanzee and won as a Republican in 2010. So I doubt it was attributed to his expertise in party management as much as it was just the national mood.
Well,
so thanks again for taking the call, and I'll listen to your response, but you're really fighting a good fight, so thank you on behalf of those of us that listen.
Thanks for the call, Greg. Yeah, you're right about that, obviously. And then not a couple of short years later, Pat Brady was kicked out as state party chairman and leaving the state party organization, $250,000 in debt when he was. Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Of course it didn't have anything to do. And all it is back in the day, which is only 8 years ago, but back in the day, you had more center-right families still here. And so in 2010, with the wave, you had more suburban districts sort of rebound to their traditional watermark. But it was temporary, wasn't it? And now it's how much has it receded? Sean in Elmwood Park.
So I was there yesterday, and I'll tell you what, there were more frauds in that room than a Vatican bank meeting. And it's worse than what you said. It's worse than what you said, because they do have a plan, ladies and gentlemen, and that plan is to get more money. And their plan is really quite simple, and that's say different things to different people. See, that's the Brady, that's the Durkin, that's the Illinois Republican pansy mob, because all they want is their shiv. All they want is their little piece. And that's all that they're going for today and tomorrow and next year, because they're soft and they're fat and they're rich, and they don't care about your property taxes, and they don't care about your house taxes, because they're already made men. So it's time to throw each and every one of those doughboys out. Each and every one of them, who don't have the courage to look at you in the eye. They're like scared little beat dogs. The only difference is they're very wealthy doing it.
Thanks, Sean. Jim in South Elgin.
Good topic, and something that's been a distress for me for many years. Part of the problem, too, though, is a lot of our good conservative people have left the state. The Tea Party was very strong, 10 years ago, but, recently trying to get people organized is really tough because a lot of people have left. And in fact, yesterday I was driving through downtown Wheaton on Roosevelt Road. I had to drop something off, and you should see the number of buildings for sale on Roosevelt Road in downtown Wheaton. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. This one stretch, it must have been half the buildings were up for sale.
Thanks, Jim.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, President and CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 35-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Without further ado.
Hi, I'm Patty Fritz, Precision Payroll's first employee. Yes, I'm real. I love working with my team and our clients and providing the best service and support. Hard to believe it's been that long. But when you love what you do, it's great. And I do love what we do at Precision Payroll. I didn't start for myself either.
That's right, Patty. I was there day one, and I'm still working with you today. Hi, I'm Jack Bishop, owner of Priority Logistics in Elk Grove and Precision Payroll's first client. Yes, I'm real too. Precision Payroll has served us exceptionally for 35 years. We've grown together over the years, and I look forward to many more to come.
Jack and Patty, thank you both for making Precision Payroll of America a great company to do business with. To join our growing ranks of clients, visit us at precisionpayroll.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had my yearly physical and all my tests and everything, and they were wonderful. In fact, my doctor said everything came back and it's fantastic. So, and my blood pressure was down 20 points. So, yeah, it was kind of high, but now it's okay.
So I think that that balance of nature is a big deal for me, and I feel good. I generally feel not up like crazy, but I feel happy. All the nutrition, all the nutrients that I needed or need, I'm getting. I feel good that way.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Dashing through the snow, to CVS we go. A $10 cash card for beauty brands and bows. Lights to dress the tree, and stocking gifts galore. Candy cards and photo gifts and deals throughout the store. At CVS Pharmacy, we've got all the little things you need this holiday. Like a $10 CVS cash card, yours when you spend $30 on select items like holiday decor, going on this week. Plus M&Ms are BOGO free. Dash to CVS Pharmacy today. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
You got me that bracelet from Hellsberg? I can't believe you did this.
I also got a Nintendo Switch. It came with your bracelet, like, free.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell you because I was going to buy the bracelet anyway, but it's really cool and I love it. There, I said it.
That's awesome.
There's 2 controllers.
Even better.
Get gifts that get gifts at Hellsberg Diamonds, like a free Nintendo Switch system when you spend $1,199 or more. Hellsberg Diamonds, a Berkshire Hathaway company. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online or in-store for details. Games sold separately.
What is the reasoning behind the separation of church and state? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
As a pastor, when we propagate the gospel outside of the church atmosphere, we hear people screaming separation of church and state. What is some argument? Let me back up and say, to my knowledge, what I understand about separation of church and state, the reason it came about is to keep the state out of church affairs.
That is actually the correct history of the First Amendment itself. The idea was there was not going to be a national church like a Church of England, but rather a separation in the sense that the government would not be controlling the internal affairs of the churches. But it wasn't a separation from God and government, and it wasn't a separation from religious influence on social and moral issues. Again, the separation of church and state does not allow for the government to squelch the message of the gospel or the message of the church.
Find out more at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Michael Goodwin from the New York Post about future Nobel Peace Prize recipient and 21st century Nathan Hale, Jim Acosta at 8:38.
Yes, he's back. And also, just in time for Thanksgiving, after-birth tacos. I mean, honest, what is wrong with people? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Skies are blue, 30 degrees. We had some early morning snow showers and some heavier snow across northwest Indiana that is being pushed out, at least for now. Chicago police officer, a doctor, and a pharmacy resident are among the 4 killed following a shooting at a hospital yesterday on Chicago's near south side. The gunman, identified by police as Juan Lopez, shot and killed emergency room doctor Tamara O'Neill in a parking lot outside of Mercy Hospital. That was over a domestic dispute. He then dashed into the hospital and gunned down pharmacy resident Dana Less, then exchanged gunfire with Officer Samuel Jimenez, who was killed. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson.
He and his partner were actually doing something else and responded to the officer needs assistance call. When they pulled up, they heard the gunshots, and they did what the heroic officers always do. They ran towards that gunfire.
The suspect was shot and killed. It's unclear right now whether he took his own life. In other news this morning, Northern California likely to see heavy rain tomorrow. That may help control the massive Camp Fire continuing to burn in Butte County. Washington Post reporting that Ivanka Trump used a personal email account to send hundreds of messages to fellow White House aides and cabinet officials. Her use of the personal account reportedly violated federal records acts. Church officials in New Jersey say the names of priests or deacons who are credibly accused of abusing children will be made public next year. At least 3,000 salaried workers at General Motors likely to be laid off in North America as fewer of them took the automaker up on a buyout deal. GM officials offered voluntary buyouts to 18,000 with a goal of 7,000 taking that buyout by yesterday afternoon. Here in Chicago, people rescued from a trapped elevator in one of Chicago's tallest buildings later learned they had dropped 84 floors. Tribune reported late yesterday 6 people, including a pregnant woman, got into an elevator late last week after leaving a restaurant on the 96th floor of the former John Hancock Center. They heard noises and experienced a bumpy and fast ride. The elevator broke and landed somewhere near the 11th floor. Firefighters then had to smash through a wall to reach people trapped inside. The elevator and 2 others are shut down until repairs are made and officials figure out what happened. The Bears working on a short week of practice before the Lions on Thanksgiving Day at Ford Field. They may have to sideline Bear quarterback Mitchell Trubisky during the couple of days of practice after an injury to his right throwing shoulder. College hoops, Loyola win over Richmond. Gonzaga held on to beat Illinois in the Maui Invite, 84-78. The news is a service of Compassion International. You can't change the whole world, but you can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty by becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. You can choose a child to sponsor now at compassion.com/radio, compassion.com/radio. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a huge change in America.
The founders are so tainted now. The left has taught so many young Americans that they were racist and they were rich white males who owned slaves. And that ends their greatness. Fools are teaching our children so often.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world.
Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Songs have been written about it, wars have been fought over it, and just holding it in the palm of your hands is magnificent. Silver and gold have been bartered, bought, and sold for centuries, and now is the time for you to invest in one of the most recognized financial assets and ensure your portfolio is guarded against inflation and a declining dollar. For such an exclusive opportunity and investment, put your trust in Kedzie Coins. Kedzie Coins is an accredited precious metals dealer member with family roots in the heart of Chicago. And as members of the Professional Numismatics Guild, they are committed to the strictest standards of excellence and ethics. With one of the largest selections of gold and silver bullion minted in the U.S., Kedzie Coins is your destination to buy American. Visit one of their 3 locations, Kedzie Coins and Jewelry on 59th and Kedzie in Chicago, What a Gem Jewelry and Coins in Berwyn, or the flagship store, Broadway Jewelry and Rare Coins in Bradley, just north of Kankakee. For questions or to set up an appointment, call 773-436-0777.
Check out the newest podcast from the Associated Press, Ground Game, hosted by AP's digital editor, Megan Crane. Ground Game is a weekly political conversation with AP reporters and guests. Available on Apple Podcasts.
It is 8:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound traffic is heavy from Montrose to the Burns Circle. 38 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 28 from Montrose, 19 to the Express. Outbound 32 minutes to the airport. Eden's 19 minutes Lycook Junction, outbound 22. Mount Eisenhower, 55 minutes, 390 to downtown. 36 from Manheim, outbound 35 to 390. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 42 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound 19 with a crash near 31st. I-57, 25 minutes, 90 to merge Bishop 426. Northbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Montrose to Fullerton. Northbound Tri-States, though, the Stevenson to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cold. Clouds and sun, more sun right now. High 34, partly cloudy, and 27 overnight. 30 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Give him his press pass or give him death, Jim Acosta heroically said. And so the White House relented to this 21st century Patrick Henry and has reinstated Jim Acosta's press pass. So
I could sleep at night.
Our long national nightmare
is over.
Oh, and it comes with new rules for the kindergartners in the D.C. press corps.
You showed me the best meme of the White House press area.
Yeah.
And there's a high chair
right
in the middle of the
Jim
center first line.
Yeah, well, it's like,
where
these
Jim Acosta sits.
Rules promulgated by the White House for not kindergartners, actual grown adults, journalists. Like keep your hands to yourself. Mm-hmm. Yield the floor to other journalists after asking a single question when called upon.
Okay.
Can only ask follow-up questions at the discretion of the president or White House officials taking questions. Yielding the floor, let's define that.
Yeah, what does that mean, Dan?
It includes physically surrendering the microphone to White House staff.
I mean, no touchy, too.
Right. Or you get a timeout and you have to sit looking at the wall and away from your colleagues. Good grief. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Michael Goodwin. Of course, he is a New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor. Michael, would you second the motion that I have made for Jim Acosta to receive a Nobel Peace Prize?
Good morning, guys. That's one I hadn't thought of. I mean, he certainly, in his own mind, deserves it. I think first, doesn't he want a Purple Heart first? Or, the combat medals that he richly deserves for daring to stand up and shout at a president and lecture a president. But look, beneath our enjoying this precious moment, there is this serious issue of the media and its role in our country. And I think when it makes itself the butt of the jokes this way, it is an indication of how far it has fallen and how little regard that even the three of us who are involved in the media, how we have sort of come to view our own business, our own organization in this way as something far beneath what we think it should be.
Well, do you think Jim Acosta should have gotten his press pass back in the first place?
Look, I think the judge's ruling is sensible. The idea that should be due process for this is also, I think, akin to the idea that there should be written rules. None of it should be necessary. Nonetheless, I think it was effectively a timeout that enabled the White House to come up with these rules, and now they are written, and there's a process. There will be, if your pass is to be taken away, you'll be giving some kind of a notice, and you can contest that. But look, so I don't have a big problem with all that. I think it sensibly reflects the nonsense that's going on there. But I do think there is this larger issue, too, of the other correspondents, the White House Correspondents Association, best known for its frivolous dinner and comedians and that sort of thing. Where are they on this? They sit there, they tolerate an Acosta, and then they run to the courts and support him once the president has laid down the law. Well, why don't they police themselves? I think this notion that, as I write in my column, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I think the White House press corps has to man up and police itself and say to Acosta, no, you are giving us all a bad name. You are making us all a mockery of what we're supposed to be doing. We're going to stop you. We're not going to wait for the government to do it, for the president to do it. We're going to do it because it's bad form. It's obviously misconduct. And I think that's what's missing here. The White House press corps is all about its privileges and nothing about its responsibility.
Well, and there's the issue of infantile behavior, but there's the larger, more important issue of the actual reporting that's done. They ignore things they wish weren't true, and they conjure up things they wish were. So one of the things they're ignoring now is this caravan that doesn't exist, according to CNN, according to Juan Williams on this show, according to MSNBC. Don't tell that to the people in Tijuana. It didn't exactly roll out the red carpet.
Right. Well, and I think that goes to another effect of the Acosta manner, which is that he stood up and argued with the president that this is not an invasion. This caravan is not to be taken seriously. It's not a threat. And so that has something of a chilling effect in that room among the media. And this is the heart of the national media, is in that room. And so if you say otherwise, you are going against the common expression of that room, of the national media. You are going in the other direction. You're taking the president's side. And so I think that Steve Bannon's famous line that the media has become the opposition party there's a lot of truth to that. That's what happens. So the media then, this is the line. This is the red line here. If you see the invasion, if you see the caravan as a potential invasion, you're a Trumper. If you see it as something not to be afraid of, you're with the media. So what the Acostas do is divide the country by being anti-president. I think there's got to be another way of being in the media. There's got to be a way of being skeptical, but not hostile. And I'm afraid that hostility is now being baked into the media's approach to Trump. But once that's the new standard, it's going to be the permanent standard on all presidents, on all government. And I think it's the wrong standard. I think it's not what the media should be doing.
Do you think that the beef between CNN and the White House will ever subside, or is this our new normal?
That's a tricky one. I think that we have to acknowledge, too, that the president sees some value in keeping the beef alive.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, when he made the threat the other night that we'll throw Acosta out again, and then there was this rumor they were not going to give the press pass back and all of that, I think there is this sense that there is political gold for him as well. But I happen to believe there's greater political gold for everybody involved, greater respect, greater comedy in our country if we move on, if we try to do this right now. This whole thing went off the rails. I hope Acosta will behave. I hope there will be no imitators. And I think the White House will continue to have these briefings, although I think they should take them off camera. I think the camera is now creating this performance atmosphere and with the Acostas. And if they were not on camera, if these briefings, the daily briefings at least, were not on camera, I think people would settle down a bit. Of course, the press conferences with the president should be on camera.
Now, Paul Krugman and others, including a NYU law professor in today's Journal, are pretty upset with rural, white, non-college educated voters who expanded the Republicans' majority in the Senate. So they think it's time to change the way the Senate is composed and do some tinkering with the Constitution so that, to borrow from Krugman's example, you don't have Wyoming, 600,000 people with 2 senators, and California with 40 million people, 2 senators. We got to do some equalizing there, maybe break up a few states, because we just can't have white, rural, not college-educated voters, getting in our way. How does the president play that to his advantage, with still a recognition that he needs to do better in the suburbs in 20 than Republicans did in 18?
I mean, look, I sort of agree that we should take Maine out of the Senate. I mean, why those little states or Vermont or New Hampshire? Why should they get 2 votes?
Right.
In Texas?
Yeah. Right.
So there we have the college-educated New Hampshire types. All the people who fled Boston because of high taxes went to New Hampshire and started to raise its taxes. But look, I think that the Constitution is just fine the way it is. It was all done for a purpose. It was all, and that purpose has been successful. The problem we see with the new left is that when they don't get their way, then everything has to be changed because they are entitled to win. And so we saw this in Florida. We saw it in Georgia. I do not recall a single Republican in this cycle contesting the results when they lost. It's only the Democrats who try to make everything about their winning. And if they don't win, then there's been cheating. There's something wrong with the system. And it must be changed because they should have won. And don't forget, the great irony of this is what, when Donald Trump in 2016 said that he might not accept the results if he thought they were rigged, Hillary Clinton, the New York Times, they all went crazy. This is a threat to our democracy. Here we are, 2 years later, and nothing or no one but Democrats have been threatening to reject the results of elections, and they continually do it. If it's a black candidate who loses, it has to be racism. Well, I didn't hear John James in Michigan when he lost his Senate seat, a black military veteran. As a Republican, he didn't complain that it was racism. Why is it only Democrats who, when they lose, there's got to be an ulterior reason? It can't just be that the voters didn't pick them. It has to be crooked. It has to be rigged. This is a sense of entitlement. So as the Paul Krugmans who want to change the Constitution, this is all about entitlement. We're entitled to win. And when we don't win, the system has to be blown up, or it's crooked or something else. I mean, these are just bad sports.
Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor. Thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Jack Tabota at Tabota & Associates calls this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. Jack and his team want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Tabota & Associates at 630-883-4453 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 630-883-4453 and schedule a visit. You, your retirement, Tabota & Associates, 630-883-4453. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hey, I love MyPillow and how it's changed the way I sleep. So when I heard about the new MyPillow mattress topper, I couldn't wait to try it. Now I don't know if I love MyPillow or MyPillow mattress topper more. It's that good. And you can get a great deal on a MyPillow mattress topper and start getting the best sleep of your life. Their exclusive 3-layer design, have you heard? There's one for with a MyPillow foam for support, transitional foam to help relieve those pressure points, and an ultra-soft temperature-regulating cover that you can throw in the washer and dryer. Made in America and has Mike Lindell's 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll get the total body support you need and sleep better. And right now, you'll save 30% when you use the promo code Amy. Plus, you'll receive 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free, or you can still receive the buy one, get one free offer if you just want the MyPillows. So visit MyPillow.com. They've got pet beds. They've got sheets, pillowcases, everything you could want. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's actually really been helping my system and my lupus and my gastro problems. So I'm actually very happy with the product.
Acid reflux is pretty much under control. That's why I keep taking it.
I have noticed, I'm sleeping better since I started taking the Balance of Nature and all the other things I'm doing.
I can't believe how wonderful your product is. I listened to you guys on the radio for years and years and years,
And I listened to all the testimonials. I go, well, it's probably time to give it a try. And I've been just happy as could be ever since.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When you're looking for a special and creative way to thank your customers for their business or to follow up with your clients, gift it forward with KP Toffee. Your business associates deserve something different and exceptional that will be remembered. Or maybe you'd like to show your employees some appreciation for a project or job well done, and gift it forward with KP Toffee. Or just the right gourmet gift that stands out, makes an impression, and shows that you went above and beyond. Give scrumptious KP Toffee. KP Toffee is a Wisconsin-made gourmet English toffee, topped with rich premium chocolate and pecans. The award-winning toffee is completely handmade with their secret recipe. The premium ingredients and carefully controlled process give it a perfectly unique crunch. KP Toffee is available in milk, dark, and white chocolate flavors, plus some amazing specialty flavors and KP Toffee Popcorn Crunch and the KP Toffee Pretzel Twist. See all the goodies KP Toffee has to offer and shop online today to make gift giving special. kptoffee.com. That's kptoffee.com.
When it comes to your identity and the personal information on your devices, there's no soundtrack to let you know you're in danger. Today's digital world is so connected, it just takes one weak link for criminals to get in. Good thing new LifeLock now adds the power of Norton Security. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect threats like your personal info for sale on the dark web. And Norton Security helps protect up to 5 devices from ransomware and other online threats. Plus, if you have a problem, our agents will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but with LifeLock, we can help alert you to danger. Join now and get 10% off your first year plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Just go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code SMART. Terms apply. New LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
AM 560, The Answer.
Mexican Thanksgiving at the Jacobson household?
Well, we've heard of, people taking their placentas after they give birth. It's essentially after birth. The placenta meant to feed the baby, folks. But a lot of the celebrities have taken the placentas and made them into pills or smoothies,
Gross.
which some say smell like delivery rooms. I'm not kidding you. Somebody said that. But now they're putting placenta into tacos.
No.
So after birth tacos. Oh, cue the music. It's the after birth tacos.
I was
Yeah.
looking for something to complement the umbilical cord stuffing that I'm bringing to Thanksgiving this year. So that sounds ideal.
Well, some claim that it's good because it helps with postpartum depression. It's full of protein.
You know what helps with postpartum depression?
What?
An ice cream sundae. How about that? Hola!
So it's just one of those disgusting things, but it is a rich source of protein. And one man tried it. He blogged about it and wishes now that he could take it back. But he said it tasted a little bit like beef brisket and veal. Oh.
Yeah, right.
No.
I mean, this is not new, right? I mean, Amazon has recipe books for your placenta.
How many different ways can you eat your placenta?
There's 25 recipes for your
25
placenta.
ways to eat your placenta. So disgusting.
25 ways to eat your placenta. It sounds like a Seth MacFarlane movie.
I know. And somebody also wrote an article, I regret eating my placenta. There's no single shed of proof that this really helps with postpartum.
What are you making for Thanksgiving?
I'm making reservations. No, I'm bringing.
Bingo.
There you go. That's what you're doing. Thanks so much. Congratulations to the Blaine Blue Jays 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th grade girls volleyball team.
Yes.
For being undefeated, not dropping a set, the 7th and 8th graders, and 11-0.
Thank you for prompting everyone to congratulate you on your victories. Very subtle.
Even brought in the mascot. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, Quinn McCarthy, and Keith Conrad, who keep us up and running. And now let's check in with Mike Scott. Here he is in the newsroom.
Broccoli, Greek yogurt, oats, almonds. You're looking for sources of protein? There you go.